I came before his throne. He touched my lips and made me whole. Exchanged my heart of stone for one of flesh and put life in my bones. And all I can say is, holy is he. Yeah, holy is he. He opened up my eyes and gave me spiritual sight. And all I can say is, holy is he. Now that my eyes have seen your light, I just wanna stay and behold, stay and behold your glory, Lord. And now that my eyes have seen your light, I just wanna stay and behold, stay and behold your glory, Lord. Holy is he. I could not believe my eyes, how he's purified my life. Holy is he. And all I can say is, holy is he. Holy is he. Holy is he. Holy, and all I can say is,
why is it that the Democrat Party, the donkey party, loves to position minorities in a place where they lord over us and keep us subservient to their system? The only system that's truly harming and endangering minorities in this country is the Democrat Party. But then people who don't support that political party, we're called garbage. We're called Nazis, white supremacists, anarchists. All of these different terms simply because we want to protect the baby in the womb. And this is my message for the church all across this nation. Who do you agree with? Do you agree with the culture or do you agree with the God of the Bible? I went to California. What did I do that for? Spoke at a school board meeting there and delivered a message entitled 10 Things That Black Students Don't Need in Education. It got sticky when I delivered that message. And within that, it's equally racist to try to position blacks as proverbial victims. Let me be the first to tell you that I'm a proud black man living in the United States of America, but I am no one's victim. And what makes me victimless is that I don't see myself through critical race theory or through intersectionality. I see myself through the lenses of the scripture. scriptures, and the Bible says that I'm a holy nation, and I'm a chosen people, and that I'm a royal priesthood. And the last time I checked, you can't be royalty and a victim at the same time. And then I told them that we don't need the soft bigotry of low expectations. It got hot. And then I told them that we don't need white liberals telling black people that they know what's best for us than we know what's best for ourselves. 2 weeks later, say 2 weeks later, I was labeled a white supremacist. And so, are y'all praying for me? Like, really, pray. Look at me. You heard Pastor say my last name. That's not a white last name. That's a Nigerian, that's an African last name. My last name means I know God, and I'm glad to say that I do. But why do I have to be labeled as a white supremacist? Just because I believe in school choice. Why do I have to be labeled as a white supremacist? Because I don't think that we should abort babies at any stage of gestation. A big hand clap goes there. Come on. Come on. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. Why do I have to be a white supremacist? Because I believe that if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat. That's what the Bible says. It also says that if a man can't take care of his family, he's worse than an infidel. And do you not know that, oh man, I wasn't going to do this, but let me go ahead. Is it all right? Is it okay? Why is it that the Democrat Party, the donkey party, loves to position minorities in a place where they lord over us and keep us subservient to their system? The only system that's truly harming and endangering minorities in this country is the Democrat Party. And when you dare to speak up, they will try to whip you. Recently, Barack Obama was talking to black men in a condescending tone and manner. Why? Because we are not with her. I don't have to call her name. You know what I'm talking about. I want to be the first to tell you tonight, I'm not with her. Nor do I do identity politics. In order to get my vote, you have to do more than so-called sort of kind of be black. Sometimes Indian, sometimes Jamaican, sometimes faking, sometimes baking. You have to do more than that. That's a low bar to say that because of your pigmentation, you should get my vote. I want to know what your values are and how you want to protect this nation and keep criminal, illegal from coming into our country and bringing fentanyl and crime and drugs into our nation. I don't care what color you are. Do you want to protect America? Yes or no? Christians, you cannot be a Christian and support laws that are directly opposed to the scriptures. You see, as we've lost our biblical worldview, it's become easier to preach watered down messages, scratch some ears. We're called to be the salt of the earth, not the sugar of the world. It's become easier to lie to people and pacify people because technically we are biblically illiterate. We need hooked on phonics for Christians. That's why every election cycle we have this conundrum of woke pastors saying, well, you don't have to vote. Do you not know that nearly 41 million Christians are choosing to sit out this election? We have the ability to speed up evil at the ballot box to slow it down. Choose. Now, there's no perfect political party. Let me be the first to tell you. As I've traveled this country, I've dealt with lying liberals and ratchet rhinos. I've had my fair share of Republicans who did not want me to address the pornographic books that are upon the bookshelves, who wanted me to do it in secret in the same manner that Nicodemus came to Jesus. But I don't come to people by night. I came and spoke at the school board meeting anyway, and we had those pornographic books removed as a result of it. And so we have a choice to make. Who are we with? What do we stand for? The Bible says, in him we live, we move, and have our being. That's why I emphatically say that I'm not with her, because I'm with him. And you can't be with him and side with her. Now, this goes beyond political parties. It goes beyond next Tuesday, because we have a world to save. But how can we engage this culture if we're afraid to vote biblical values and express where we stand? Everyone's coming out of the closet. The homosexual comes out of the closet. The pervert comes out of the closet. The pedophile comes out of the closet. The abortionist comes out of the closet. The trans person comes out of the closet. When is the church going to come out of the closet? And so I say this in my closing, that yes, suffering is a part of the Christian experience. I too share my many challenges that I've endured across this nation. I've been called everything but a child of God. I've received all of the emails that you could imagine, all of the threats. Had to contend with even losing speaking engagements from woke conferences and churches who did not want to identify with me and my message. And you know, I count it all joy. I count it all joy. And so I say to you tonight, there are better days ahead. There are glorious times ahead. Do you not know that there is a catching away ahead? Yes, we deal with all of the critical race theory stuff down here, the gender theory, the queer theory, the perversion, the abortion, the high inflation. My God, the high inflation. The high gas prices, the issues, all of the problems. But listen to me. Hear me tonight. Make sure that you continue to look up. The Bible says that in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, goes on to tell us that the dead in Christ shall be the first to rise, and we that are alive and remain shall be caught up to meet him in the air. Here's the beautiful part. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. I don't know about you tonight, but I'm not discouraged. I'm encouraged because I know that better days, say that with me, shout, better days, are coming. God bless you.
I don't know about you, but that's how I want to start a Sunday morning. You see, Robin and I, because I'm doing this today, couldn't get to church. So I'm like, well, I'll bring church to me, and I'll bring church to you, and get you guys a message and understand we're watching a political rally. We're going to see some stuff that gets us ready for Tuesday, but at the same time, this is the Lord's Day, and I wanted to make sure that, we brought a message, came together. And for those 2% of you that are in darkness, I hope you're enlightened today. Just in time, here comes Stephen Miller to the stage.
Are we ready, Lancaster? Just 2 days from now, and this nightmare that we've been living through for 4 years ends. In 2 days, you can end the nightmare of inflation, the nightmare of illegal immigration, the nightmare of humiliation at home, embarrassment abroad, and the degradation of this country. In just 2 days, you can defeat Kamala Harris, you can defeat the radical left, you can defeat the Marxists, the communists, the globalists, the crooked politicians, and you can send your hero and champion back to the White House. It all comes down to Pennsylvania. The Patriots here today, you can deliver this state to Donald J. Trump, and you can send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. If everyone here gets 5 people, 6 people, 7, 8, 9, 10 people to the polls on Tuesday, this race is won, this election is over, and the banners will read, "We have re-elected Donald J. Trump back to the White House." So I need you all. I am asking you to dig deep, to work hard. 48 more hours after 9 years, it all comes down to this. You're right at the finish line on this marathon. And I want you to think, I want you to really think, as we have these 2 days left, what President Trump has endured for all of you, for all of us, for this nation for 9 years, since he came down that escalator. I want you to think about the hoaxes, the media lies, distortions, defamations, lawfare, persecutions, witch hunts, one persecution, one hoax, one abuse, one lie after another. Every single force that has been wrecking and raiding and pillaging this country has been coming after him. And why? Why have they done it? Because he's standing up for all of us every single damn day. And I ask you, when they came at him, when they tried to take away his freedom, when they tried to take away his business, and yes, when they tried to take away his life, did he back down? Did he give an inch? Did he yield? Did he surrender? Or did he stand up proud and tall and raise his fist into the air and shout, "Fight, fight, fight"? Pennsylvania, I need you to fight. We need you to fight for 2 more days to end these injustices. As you're heading to the polls, as you're bringing your friends to the polls, as you're bringing your coworkers to the polls, your family to the polls, I want you to think about all the victims all the victims who have suffered under this heartless administration and under the cruel and wicked and sinister policies of Kamala Harris. How many of you have turned on the news or searched online day after day and read about another American raped and murdered by an illegal alien that Kamala Harris brought into our country? What kind of person does this to her own countrymen? What kind of person finds criminal gang members and sets them free to attack our people? Who would do such a thing? I want you to think of these victims. I want you to think of the mothers, the fathers who will never see their kids again, and say, for the love of God, we're going to elect Donald Trump. We're going to seal that border. We're going to send the illegals home. And we're going to keep America safe for American citizens. You don't have to live like this. We don't have to live like this. We can be a free country again. We can be a sovereign country again. We can be a country again that puts American citizens before migrant gangs and illegal aliens. We don't need foreign countries' criminals. We don't need foreign countries' killers. We don't need foreign countries' gangs. You know what we need? We need safe parks, safe schools, safe communities where our children can learn and thrive, and they'll never have to compete with illegal aliens who don't even belong in our country. 4 generations of my family comes from this state. My great-great-grandfather lived here. My great-grandfather lived here. My grandfather lived here. My mom was born here. I love this state with every single fiber of my being. And I want Pennsylvania to be freer and stronger than it's ever been before. But you know, the only way this happens is if we send Kamala Harris back to San Francisco with her communist friends and send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. 2 days. 2 days. That's all we have left. After all the fighting, after all the battles, everything we've experienced together on this journey, everything that we've been through, and everything that Donald J. Trump has been through, that's all that's left. Just 2 days. Just 2 days. Are we up to the challenge, Pennsylvania? Are we going to get this done, Pennsylvania? Are we going to kick out the corrupt globalist politicians? And are we going to elect a man who puts you first, your families first, your children first, this country first, this flag first, every single day? Kamala Harris doesn't give a damn about you. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about your children. She doesn't care about your families. She doesn't care about anybody but herself and her donors. There's one man who cares about you and your family, who's willing to take every single arrow and, yes, every bullet they send his way. And that man, that champion, that leader, that warrior who's going to be standing in front of you in just a few minutes, he's counting on you, and his name is Donald J. Trump. And if you do the work for just 2 more days, then my friends, my fellow patriots, come January, you are going to watch Donald J. Trump standing before the assembled nation and the assembled world, put his hand on that Bible, take the oath of office, and save this country. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless Pennsylvania.
Well, he brought it. I'm probably going to have to delete most of it. I probably have to delete most of this video today because I'm sure the people upstairs are freaking out right about now. Oh my God, Barry brought on a video and he talked about God. And then Stephen Miller stepped on stage and he brought heat and talked about, you know, the newcomers and called them what they really are. Meanwhile, I'm tuning into, I've got some things on the screen here, and it's 10 o'clock and the morning Sunday talk shows are coming out, and they just rolled the credits. Oh, yeah, that pretty much looks like them today. Like this comment says, Democrat cheating is on, and they dare us to stop them as they start the Sunday morning shows. And that's them all showing up for their panels and all this stuff that they're going to talk about today, which is all blah, 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 crap. Go watch a football game down here, go to the beach, go fishing, do whatever you need to do. Or just come back here for the second and third rally because love to have you. Because right now we are in a firefight. We are in an incredible blitzkrieg of PSYOP that's going on in this country today and tomorrow. It is going to be unnerving. It's going to be incessant. They're going to say everything they possibly can to completely demoralize you, your friends, and anyone else who's thinking about voting for Trump. At this point, suppression is all they have left. There is nothing else that they can pull out of their pocket. They're getting smacked down by judges. The polls are being swamped. And so the only weapon in their arsenal, the only arrow in their quiver today and tomorrow is to just try to stop the wave. But those of you who have been watching and following Trump for years, you know the letters. No one can stop what is coming except you, except yourselves. You are the only people who can stop what is coming. They can't. Kamala can't. The news media can't. Only you. By you staying home and feeling depressed and seeing the polls and seeing what they're put out there and watching this and it's on you. The reason why I said let's go to church, besides the fact that it was Sunday, was to let you know you are a child of God. You need to put on the armor of God. You need to get out there and act as though this is it. The trumpets are blaring. There's nothing left. It's a 2-minute warning. All the different analogies that you want to put out there, put them out there. Because now we're going to find out what people are made of. When people are starting to just try and rub stuff in your face and make you look the other way, when they're going to go after squirrels and raccoons instead of newcomers, you know we're in trouble. When the governor of New York can stand in an interview and say anyone who's voting for Donald Trump is anti-American. I don't know if you guys were here last night. Maybe I can pull it up. Do I still have it in here? Let me see if I still have it here. She actually said that on television last night. Let me hold on. See if this is it.
Well, I know Mark very well. He's a very insecure guy. Can't hit a golf ball more than 50 yards. He's weak physically and mentally.
But she actually came out yesterday and said people who vote for Trump are not Americans. They're going to try everything and anything to demoralize you. You can't let it happen. I think I saved it here. Did I save it? Where is this crazy woman? Nope, I didn't save it. I deleted it because it was just trash. But anyway, Kathy Hochul, in addition to all of us not being able to use a computer, not being able to understand how to get an ID, now you're just simply not an American if you vote for Donald Trump. When you hear people say stuff like that, you realize there's only one reason they're saying it. It's like a kid in the schoolyard. Hey, you're 4 eyes. Hey, you're fat. Hey, you're ugly. Because they're trying to insult you to the point where you cower. Oh, yeah. You should know who you are. You're a child of God. It means you're strong. You got someone behind you who's willing to give you the energy to get to the polls. At this point, there's no excuse. And as John, how do I pronounce his name? John Amanchukwu. John Amanchukwu. As he said, I can't be with her because I'm with him. How can any Christian vote against what they believe inherently? God, family, country. Or God, country, family, depending how you think. Mine is God, family, country. If that is truly how you feel, if you go to Sunday, if you go to church on Sunday, and you sit in the pews, and you listen, and you donate, and you tithe, and you do this, and you vote for her, you might as well cancel your ticket. Those two things just do not jive. And I don't know, I am not a pastor. I'm going to have JJ in here tomorrow. We're going to do a early prayer before the election, prayer night. I think we're going to do it before the third rally tomorrow, not before the fourth rally. Tonight we got 3. But if anyone in the chat, if any of you trolls want to tell me how you can reconcile going to church on Sunday and voting for Kamala Harris, knowing what she believes in, I'm all ears. You know, it is a line in the sand. And then, as he has said, and every data analyst will tell you, not all, so many Christians just are sitting it out. 30, 40 million. No, I'm not going to vote. Well, I'm going to let God take care of it. That's like saying, I am not going to eat and God's going to take care of me. I'll be fine. I don't have to eat. God gave you that fruit. God gave you that fish. God gave you that beef. He also gave you a brain that says, I need to eat that fruit. I need to eat that fish. I need to eat that beef and that chicken. If God gave you the brain to discern what you should be eating and what you should be consuming, he didn't give you a brain to sit back and go, yeah, you do it. You take care of this election, God. I don't need to vote. But 30 million Christians are going to stay home? Hey, man, let me just tell you. This rally here in Lititz, Pennsylvania, which is basically right outside of Lancaster, where the Amish are. And these people who don't have televisions, barely some of them have electricity, if any, don't listen to radios, just simple people who live simple, God-fearing lives. If they're coming out in horse and buggies to vote because the government decided they want to interfere with their lives and the way they live their lives, if they are strong enough to realize, man, we don't normally get political, but we gotta vote. You're telling me I can't, farm. I can't use the cow's milk the way I want to. I can't slaughter animals that I raise for our own food. You're telling me we have to go through your way or no way? If they're smart enough to vote, I don't understand how any other Christian church or church body can sit back and just go, we got this. God's got this. No, God gave you a brain and legs and a nervous system that allows those legs to walk to a pole, to read, to hear, to speak. And I can't even understand how people in churches and pastors in churches are sitting back or conversely saying, you should be woke. Robin and I were in a church one day here in Palm Beach Gardens. And we had been going to the church, but I'm one of those guys like Matt Damon in The Born Identity. I look at things when I go in very quickly. Boom, I spot things. That guy looks kind of sketchy. Okay, what are they doing over there? And she'll tell you the truth. I do that when I walk into a restaurant or any facility where there's people in it. At this point, it's second nature. I just scan, and I don't know, maybe I've lived some crazy stuff in my life where it has caused me to be that way. But I do. And so we went to this church and we were going and something just didn't feel right. Something told me that there's a lot of people here. And this guy's very good at speaking on Sunday mornings, but I don't know if he's more interested in keeping the population of the congregation rather than keeping the people who need to hear the messaging. You see, some of these churches grow so big, they become small businesses. And these small businesses understand their balance sheet, and they realize if we say this, we might offend some people. And if we offend some people, then we won't have, all this money here. That was like one of the first things I noticed. Then I noticed that this churches in Palm Beach County, raised a lot of money for countries over there. And I thought to myself, do these people never drive through West Palm Beach? Do they never just look right here? Do they ever go through Riviera Beach? Do they ever see what's going on in a radius of like 20 miles? You don't have to get in a plane and fly 12 hours to see people in trouble. And that was always been one of my big issues with churches when they have, I understand people have missions and they go out and spread the word. No problem with that. No problem with people go out and spread the word. But I have a big problem when churches take in lots of money and go spend it way over there when right down the street, literally right down the street, there are some people hurting. And then when, the jab stuff happened, and I watched people who were prosperous, whose businesses got shut out, got closed down by the government, and I watched smaller churches handing out food. I've mentioned this before. Seeing the line of people in Mercedes, in Range Rovers, pulling up and getting baskets of food. And this big church was still sending stuff over there. That was one of the other things we noticed. And then it happened. I forget which crime it was. It wasn't George Floyd. It was one of the other ones where some knucklehead and some white people ended up, one of them got dead. And they came on men's night. And I tune in, I log on the computer, and they start telling me, not realizing that some of the people who are watching are black, that it was up to the men in the church to make everybody realize how bad this was and how we should basically understand that our role as men in the church was to make sure that this DEI stuff was passed out. That we let everybody know the message of inclusion and diversity. And I'm like, that's it. Bye. I'm done. Robin, I'm not going back. That's it. Completely done. They might as well have just as agreed that baby removal was okay. Because they went everywhere right up to the point of baby removal. And they didn't say the words, but they're like, we have to be diverse and inclusive. And I'm like, no, I'm not that way. You can try and console them and all this other stuff. I'd rather talk to them and let them know they have options. I'd rather talk to these women who feel like they have nothing else that they can do and let them know there is something you can do. There are people who will help you. Glenn Beck's got a great mission that he's put together to help women who are in that situation who think they have no help. He will help them. Show them the alternative. Do you know, and most of you may know this, that they don't allow, what's it called, a sonogram to be shown to a woman at some of these places. They don't want them to know that there's something in there that's kicking and sucking its thumb. If you knew that, if you saw the actual picture, you might think differently. Oh, we can't show them that. We can't possibly show them that. I want a church, and I want to be led by men and women. I don't mind women speaking. And who say, hey, listen, here's what's going on. So we're at a Sunday morning where I just felt I am compelled to speak and say, as those of us who are worshiping and following and trying to go in their walk, I don't see how Kamala Harris is even an option. I don't see how Tim Walz is even an option. If that's what their sacrament is, they're not worshiping the same sacraments and don't have the same faith as I do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I'd much rather take my wrongness if it ends up being wrong than dealing with something like that. So we've got three rallies today, and I'm just going to urge you to stay off television because everything you're going to see is going to be about, oh my God, how it's awful, and she's closing the gap. Oh, it's coming on. It's coming on strong. Oh, did you see the shock poll in Iowa? She's ahead in Iowa. And you got people in Iowa going, please, what are y'all talking about? We got this rally at 10 o'clock, which is coming gone, waiting for it's at an airfield, so we're going to see the plane pull up. And then he's in Kinston. I never knew where Kinston was. Kinston, North Carolina, at 2 o'clock, which I can already tell you, based upon the timing now, is not going to happen. So after this one, have breakfast, do lunch, watch a little bit of the football game, And we're probably going to, I won't even know the time until such time as he begins on stage, and then I can begin calculating what time he's going to be able to get on stage. So let's say at this point 2:30, but I'll adjust that as he gets on. And then tonight, he's back in Georgia and Macon, Georgia at 6:30 if you'd like to join us. Tomorrow, Rob's going to have to give me an IV or something. Give me a drip. We have tomorrow, just so you know, tomorrow he's in Raleigh at 10 a.m. He's in Reading, Pennsylvania at 2 p.m. He's in Pittsburgh at 6 p.m. And then, then he's going to Grand Rapids, Michigan at 10:30 at night. 10:30. Which means it's probably going to be 11 o'clock or so before he gets on stage. Which means it's a late night. We've been here 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on some of these rallies. Tomorrow's going to be one of those days. I don't know how this man can do what he's doing. 3 rallies today, 4 rallies tomorrow. 7 rallies in 2 days. And you know, each one of these rallies, this man speaks for an hour and 30 minutes. So he's got somewhere he's going to find the energy to speak for 7.5 hours. Me personally, I'm trying right now to find as much pre-production, pre-programming as possible so that I'm not talking for 2 hours before he gets here. I don't know how many of you guys want to hear me talk, but I just put together an 18-minute pre-program, and he's nowhere in sight. So now when I get done this show, I'm like, okay, Barry, you got to go find a half hour and put together something for half hour just in case he's late. So... And I don't even think it's late. It's, who knows? It's security, whatever. I don't have a problem with it. The man's doing all this to try and become president. So that's where I stand today. Let's go ahead and take some comments because there's nothing else out there right now. There's no other speakers on stage, and I don't see the jet fly in yet. Mr. Trump is getting his energy from his supporters. I believe that. I believe that. He believes, who am I? Was it a good experience? I don't know that. I love you talking. I don't mind talking if I got something to talk about. So I do all the pre-production. Robin saw me this morning. I'm like, okay, I got to cut this. Let me find the music. Let me do this. Let me find some background video. And I'm working, and I'm like, okay, that should be enough. It's 10 o'clock. It's the first rally of the day. He won't be late for the first rally, will he? Yeah, he's late for the first rally. Did you see Kamala yawning on the plane? Yes, I did. Who wouldn't want a president like him pushing 80? This is awesome. The energy is phenomenal. Barry, that's normal. That's normal for Trump to roll into Michigan after midnight. 10:30 at night. 10:30 at night. Oh gosh, it's too funny. Trump has a what's a med bed? Michael Kim said he has a med bed. What is that? Or you have one of those things like Michael Jackson, like a hyperbolic chamber in there where he can just lay down and get oxygen pumped into his body. Who knows what he's got on that plane? Because sometimes, and somebody said it last night, when he gets off the plane, he looks like he's younger. He's obviously lost weight, and every time he comes back out, he looks younger. So I don't know what he's got on that thing, on that plane. Okay, Sean. You're falling for it, brother. Again, try to do the pep talk. Let me show you something, Sean, because maybe we should address this. Maybe for hopefully the last time. But let me just show you something if I can. Yeah, it's this. People worried about Polymarket. 2 people placed large bets on Kamala in Pennsylvania on Polymarket, and it shifted the odds. That's it. It's not real. Assume everything you see in the news is a psyop intended to discourage Trump voters from voting from now through Tuesday. Somebody put, if you notice, the other bets are $200, $95, $3, $20, $26,000 and $26,000. 26,000 and 26,000. Remember, Kamala has a war chest, or had a war chest of $1 billion. We know that they had to pull money out of many states because it wasn't working. And so who is putting this kind of money down in Polymarket? Let me show you another thing here too. Here's another one. Somebody else dug something up last night. There hasn't been a bet on Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump in Wisconsin for 20 hours. So no one had bet for nearly an entire day. Then all of a sudden, you have $150,000 roll in a period of 10 minutes. All right? And here you can see Singer Capital. Oh, that sounds like a good individual. And they spent $47,000. And then Singer Capital came in again with another $15,000. And then this guy came in with $14,000. Then this one, $20,000. $13,000, $13,000, $20,000. Do I need to keep going? You see what's happening. You see what's happening. You do realize that LeBron, J-Lo, Beyonce, any one of those people could be using a fake name and dropping $20,000 like you would buy a 6-pack of beer. And all it does is, because those numbers come in, it flips the odds. If you ever watch football, if you gamble on football, you know that the betting odds change according to what people are betting. So if all the bets on there are 15, 20, 65, 80, and all of a sudden you start seeing bets of $30,000, $45,000, what do you think's happening? At the end of the show yesterday, I showed you guys some things about the poll in Iowa. What you see on the surface is literally the iceberg that the Titanic saw. You're seeing this much. You're not seeing everything going on behind the scenes. You are right in the middle of an epic, historic psyop. And you're only seeing this above the water because that's all you're supposed to see. You're not supposed to dig deep. I feel like I need to record this, put it on loop, and every time somebody mentions Polymarket or the polls, I can click a button and just let it play. Because over the next couple of days, that's all you're going to hear. That's all you're going to see. Why? Because I already said it. It's all they have. There's nothing else. There's nothing else there. She can't possibly close the gap with votes. So they're going to try everything else at this point. So yeah, you gotta unplug. Stop looking at this crap. At least for the next 2 days. So glad I turned early to enter the church. Thank you very much. What else we got? J-Lo flew the coop last night. She's out of the country. 12. Oh, that's a big one. 12. The news doesn't want to talk about that. The entire country only had 12,000 new jobs. That alone should seal the deal. Nothing else. Forget everything else. Getting 12,000 jobs and all of them being government jobs at that should basically tell you all you need to know. There's nothing else, man. Seriously. Steve Bannon said something. I was going to cut it and put it in but then again I thought if I put that in, the people upstairs won't like it and they'll probably kill me for it. They'll probably flip the switch and say, no, you can't say that. But I'm going to just tell you what he said. I'll paraphrase it. Steve Bannon said there are so many strategists and analysts out there, and they're trying to compare things to 2020 and 2022, and they've been wondering when are the people who voted in 2020 going to show up? And his answer to his own question was brilliant. He goes, they're not. The people who voted overwhelmingly for Dementia Joe aren't going to show up in 2024 because they never existed. And I went, that's freaking brilliant. That's freaking brilliant. People are comparing the numbers for 2024, not realizing or hoping you forgot that in the middle of the night, all these people showed up. All these people filled out ballots and showed up overnight. And it was absolutely correct. I'm like, that's right. They're waiting for people who don't exist. Let that sink in. Since you know what happened in 2020, and I know what happened in 2020, and everybody else knows what happened in 2020, there was this amazing, just stupendously huge surge of people who voted that you and I know pretty well. We can't say it in certain spaces anymore, but you and I both know there was some funny business going on. And that those people can't show up in 2024 because they were ghosts. And so everyone who's looking and comparing it and say, hey, where are these people? Oh, where are these? They haven't showed up to early vote. Where are they? Because John Smith and Jane Doe never voted in the first place. And so they can't show up in 2024 because they're not real. And I thought that was probably the most brilliant analysis I've heard about election voting in a long time. And it brought me immediately back going, oh, you're absolutely right. I watched 2,000 Mules. I saw what was going on. All these people that you use to win certain states, all these people, yeah, they're not showing up in 2024 because they can't. Think about that for a second. Really think about that as you're listening to people talk and you're seeing an early vote and you're seeing what's happening and everyone's waiting for the shoe to drop and they're playing loosey-goosey with the polls, and at the same time they're wondering where are all these people going to come from to make up the difference. Maybe that's why they had to bring the newcomers in, because they realized, how are we going to replicate what we did in 2020? There are too many eyeballs. There are too many systems in place. Yesterday, if you weren't here last night, I talked to you about those of you who weren't here, maybe I should bring that up. When you start seeing things, let's see here. This happened late last night while we were on the show. Here. Want you to see this. And you tell me as things are happening in real time. This was at 9:30 last night, so you guys may have missed this. A federal judge in Arizona ruled that election officials must hand over records of 1.2 million unknown voters on the state's 2024 election voter rolls to election integrity activists for inspection. The court is aware that compiling the records may prove difficult, which the court will account for in the time it allows the defendant, the state, to produce the requested records. However, that difficulty has no bearing on citizen AG, the plaintiff, right to receive the records, whether they had made such a request 2 years ago on November 9th, 2022, or 6 days before the election. The judge says the law is the law, even on the eve of the election. So the judge is saying, I don't care how long or when they made this request to you, they made it, and you have to provide it. Show us who these 1.2 million people are. Think to yourself, who are these 1.2 million people you have on the voter rolls that now you're having a problem showing us they really exist? And they're freaking out because, what do you mean? These 1.2 million people, they're here. Okay, well then give us the record so we can see who they are. Pretty simple. Huh? Yeah, pretty simple. They don't like it. And this is from the actual transcript. I showed this yesterday. It's too funny. Here's what the judge said. The judge said, is there anything that the Secretary of State, can do before November 5th as it relates to determining if there are any ballots that have already been cast by any members of the accepted registrant? So, hey, can you tell us which one of these 1.2 million people that you can't account for have voted yet? Can we get that done? And then the response from the state, Your Honor, I don't think we can get that for you. Judge responds, "You don't know?" the attorney goes, "I don't know. I think it's highly unlikely." Oh, why isn't the Secretary of State here herself or himself? Well, Your Honor, because it's 4 days before an election and we'd be busy. Judge, why isn't one of the Secretary's lawyers here that sees him every day and works with him every day? Responded attorney, Your Honor, this hearing was not, it wasn't clear to us that this was to be an evidentiary hearing, that witnesses were required. Blah, blah, blah. Judge, you don't know. Attorney, I do know that everyone working in the Secretary's office is incredible. So she's telling a judge right now, a sitting judge, we busy. Check back later. I don't know, everyone working in the Secretary's office is incredibly busy right now. Obviously, appearing in federal court is very important. The judge said, hey, wait a second. So your response to me, I know my courtroom deputy is incredibly busy. My court reporter is incredibly busy. The 3 lawyers behind you, I'm sure they are all incredibly busy. The nature of being a professional and being gainfully employed and working and earning a wage that pays you taxes by virtue of what we do, I think we're all flippin' busy, missy. But I wish I was in a position to tell the Ninth Circuit or the Supreme Court when something gets sent back to me, I would have done it better, but I was busy. Don't think the Ninth Circuit Court cares that I'm incredibly busy, he keeps telling her, because at the end of the day, under Article 3, just like the Secretary of State, I have responsibilities that I need to take care of as it relates to my job. And the final thing was the judges are fed up with the shenanigans. 1.2 million people on this roll. They get sued to show who these people are. And the answer they gave to the judge as to why the other people aren't in court and why they can't provide these roles is, we're busy. And the judge basically looked them in the face and said, F you, we're all busy, and I'm not risking my career by looking stupid to the Ninth Circuit or the Supreme Court when they come up and say, Judge, why didn't you do this correctly? I can't say to the Supreme Court, I was busy. Democrats have a problem. They have a huge problem, and it's happening over and over and over. This ain't 2020. I've been showing you guys this over and over. New people may not have seen it. Last night might have been late. But the things that you're seeing happen, and my catchphrase thus far is, don't listen to what you hear, watch what people are doing. That's a bigger key. Watch what's being actually filed in court. Watch what judges, watch what is happening. Not what the news is saying, not when they go on the Sunday news show and they come out and tell you, everything's fine, Kamala's winning, can't you guys tell, what's your problem, why are you guys don't see these polls, you don't understand what's going on, everything is fine, she's doing well, she's ahead. Don't listen, read, and watch. If you open your eyes and do a modicum of research, not even a whole lot, just look, and then realize this as well, that when you show these people today on the show and you see them all on there, ask yourself a very simple question: why are they not reporting on this? Why will you not see that? I guarantee you, why will you not see that on any of the networks, including Fox, this morning? If you can answer that question, you let me know. Why are none of them talking about that SmackDown or the dozens of other ones I've been showing you? Why are they not even showing it to you? How about Pennsylvania and what they did and what the judge said? Why are you not seeing that anywhere? That to me is more telling than anything else, because right now what I'm seeing is on television and on websites is that everyone is putting out there that she's ahead in Iowa. Even Fox put it out there. I showed you yesterday. But nobody's digging in and going, where did you get the data? As I said last night, late night, I was saying, imagine going to a restaurant and you get fed a plate of food, or your wife cooks it. And you're like, this is so good, man. Thank you, honey. Oh, this is fantastic. Do you have any idea what went into that besides love? What spices did she put in? What fluids? What did she do? How did you make this? It's fantastic. But then you look at these polls and you look at it and go, man, this tastes like crap. What did you use? Because it's no good. It's nasty. But everyone says you have a dish here. Well, that's what a poll is. A poll is only as good as the ingredients that get put into it. And if you put shitty ingredients into it, you're going to have a shitty meal. And yet, no one wants to look at what you put into it. They just want to say, here's a plate of chicken. But that chicken's like 2 months old in the sun. Don't worry about it. Here's some chicken. It's the newest chicken. It tastes really good. But it stinks. I mean, it stinks really bad, but it's still chicken. That's what these polls are. And people, I showed people yesterday, Fox goes up on a headline, Kamala in a shock poll leads Trump. And I scrolled and I showed people, I'm like, where's the poll? Where is the data? Where are the ingredients? When you pick up any product and you look on the back and they have all the ingredients on the back of the product, where's the data? Show me where you got to this. And then when I showed people how they got to it, they're like, oh, that doesn't make no sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. So ignore that crap. I mean, seriously. I'm looking at some of the stuff right now, and it's just crazy that's out there. Just absolutely crazy what's going on. And people don't want to listen. They don't want to dig. They don't want to see what the information is. Let me just look at something else here. I want to see if there's any new data about this insanity of this poll. So this was the poll, that one poll that came out last night that showed all these things, that he was way ahead and everything else was going on. And now it's not showing up. They're not digging anymore. So that poll, there was something on my own thing I tweeted I wanted people to see. I want you to see this. This is pretty interesting. I think it was David Sachs who put it out there. Yeah, this is pretty. Love this. This week's PSYOPs, in case you weren't paying attention, on Monday, the comedian's joke is going to decide the election. Oh my God, Puerto Rico's floating garbage. Oh my God, it's the worst thing ever. He's going to lose the election. Tuesday, oh, he wasn't talking about Trump supporters. There was an apostrophe there. Wednesday, I will protect women, referred to baby removal instead of actually keeping killers from pouring across the border. Thursday, Trump wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. Friday, undecideds breaking for Kamala in double digits. Saturday, Kamala is winning Iowa. When you stack it, and when you look at it yourself and you go, oh, now I'm seeing it. just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Every single day, another thing. And when he outlined it, I was like, I wonder if people actually looked at it that way. Monday, you know what happened. Tuesday, you know what happened. Wednesday, and so on. But do you ever put together the entire list and go, oh, they've been doing this every single day? Yeah. I'm telling you, wait till you see what comes out today. I have to watch the Sunday talk shows because it's what I do. You don't have to. But I guarantee you, there's going to be a whole bunch of videos about, oh my God, did you know that Trump once slept with a pope? I mean, it's going to be everything they possibly can say at this point, because there's nothing they can do. They cannot stop what is coming. And when David Sachs put that together, and it was one after the other, and I'm thinking to myself, the audience and people in the community that we built and people are watching it, I'm seeing people be suspect. I'm seeing people worried about what they saw here or saw there. And I'm like, do you not know all this stuff has happened this week? They're just throwing stuff against the wall. That's why 2 weeks ago, people were talking about, hey, did you see what Candace Owens has been saying about Kamala's heritage? And I'm like, I don't care. Stop. Stop even looking at that. That ain't going to matter at all at this point. We all laugh that she calls herself black. We call her somewhat black. She's Indian, Indo-Asian, whatever you want to be. But what Candace Owens did and how she brought it to light means nothing. That's as the mob would say, that's small potatoes. That to me was a distraction. I'm like, yo, you don't even know what's coming. I remember saying that in one of the shows. Hey, Barry, did you see what Candace Owens found out about her father? I'm like, that ain't nothing. You're going to see. It is so not nothing is that when Trump called, and I was broadcasting live, when Trump called Kamala Harris a sleazebag, some of you guys saw me go, oh no. And I'm like, they're going to be all over this sleazebag thing. And it wasn't even enough to move the needle. They went straight to he wants to kill Liz Cheney. So who knows what'll pop up today. I'm looking on screen and the motorcade, it has arrived. Let me go ahead and show it to you guys so you guys can see that. They didn't bring the plane into the airport.
Instead of being all sad about it coming to an end. But I will say it is a little...
Bringing in the motorcade. He basically has a presidential motorcade at this point. I mean, look at that. You got ambulances and fire people and, of course, the snipers and cops and everybody else showing up following this guy. You don't see that with most ordinary candidates. Then the last two block the road, and so he is there. Now let me tell you, see that green thing right there? That's a generator. Having done many concerts before, let me tell you about that generator. I hope the sound doesn't mess up, because that's not what they call a clean generator, clean power. That's something that you run on a construction site. So let me just tell you in advance, I hope the sound is okay, because I've used like one of those generators in a concert before, and it didn't go well for me. I mean, that's not something you just call up Sunbelt and say, hey, can you bring over a generator for me now? Unless they're running lights or something else, maybe that's fine. But I hope that's not what they're running their sound system, because that's where that's where you get the buzz from. It's not clean power. Those of you who have done audio know exactly what I'm talking about. There's power, and then there's clean power. That's not a clean power generator. So now I just saw that and went, oh God, are we going to have a hum? If we have a hum, just remember at 107, 10:52, 107 into the video, kind of marking it for myself, that if you hear a hum, that's why. They didn't bring in clean power. Now, I understand they're out in the middle of nowhere in Lititz, wherever Lititz is near Lancaster, but if they didn't bring in clean power, we're going to have a hum, just to let you know. Poly Market owner is a Harris supporter. And, you know, that would not have made that big a difference until they got to him. You see, the guy who owns Poly Market is in business. He's in business to make money. And it appears as though the bag man showed up. Said, listen, here's what we need you to do. Oh, I can't do that. I'll be done. My site will be finished if we're going to make it, here's 20 million. Make it happen. 20 million? Yeah, cash. Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm not saying he did that, but it's a business, and they paid Beyonce 10 million for 2 minutes of talk. 10 million for 2 minutes of talk. Who knows what they paid Cardi B and all these other people? Spike Lee, I just don't know. It's crazy. What did SB say? Yeah, we're in Amish country today out there. Great. They need inverter generator. Yeah, there's Tom. Yeah, Tom, did you see the same thing I did? You saw that green generator? Did your heart just stop and go, oh, crap? Sound generators for PA systems and sound and microphones is a lot different than your average generator to run a saw or something. And Barry, I'm pretty nervous for our country and my family and other good people in this country as well. We won't have a reliable leader, and that America won't be America anymore. Well, I got your comment. My question is, what are you nervous about? Your first party, Barry, I'm pretty nervous for our country and my family. What are you nervous about? See, if we were talking in person, I would, whoa, hey, what are you nervous about? And then in order for you to answer that question, what are you nervous about? What made you nervous? Start digging into your own psyche and saying, I'm nervous because of, and that has happened because what? Something you heard, something someone told you, just a feeling. Those are the things that people, before every football game, we were nervous. What was that nervous based upon? Am I going to be able to perform? Am I going to be able to do what I'm supposed to do? Am I going to get the right calls? And then the coach comes in and goes, you got this. There's no reason. I think I've told this story too. We had a kid on our football team in high school. He was actually the captain, all-state, amazing linebacker. Threw up before every single game. We couldn't leave the locker room until, hey, has Danny thrown up yet? No, not yet. Okay, let's wait. Danny had to throw up before every single game. It was just something, his nerves would get up, and then, we realized what it was he just had this overabundance of adrenalism, and to get him to calm down, finally in senior year, we're like, get him out of the locker room. He's like a bull getting ready to be ridden, and he's like going crazy, and there's nothing there. And so we're like, get him out of the locker room and start letting him hit a tackling dummy. Hold a tackling dummy up and let him hit it. It went away because he would hyperventilate and get himself into a sweat and throw up because he needed to run. He needed to get out there and do something. So I'm telling you, get out there and do something. If you're nervous, find out what you're nervous about and attack that. Seriously, attack it. I'm nervous because I'm reading this stuff. Well, don't read it. It's that simple. I'm nervous because I'm hearing this and this. Stop listening. Control what you can control. You can control your household, your family. Not that I control Robin. It's probably the other way around. But you know what I mean. If you're worried that the lights are going to go out, go ahead and get a generator. You're worried that there won't be enough food, go ahead and get some food. Worried that, there's going to be a run on the bank. Well, maybe you might want to get some of this stuff, which we'll be giving out on Tuesday. This is gold and this is silver. And we're going to be giving this out Tuesday to winners of our contest. Every time a state is called for Trump, we're going to give away money. I've been talking about gold and silver for quite some time now. I've been telling you to get prepared. And this right here, that looks like about the size of a nickel, is pure gold. It's transactional. I could take it to a pawn shop and get money for it if I needed. And it's got friends. You remember that movie City Slickers 2? With the legend of Curly's gold, and he throws it down on the table. He goes, and it's got friends. Yes, that has friends. You can get some friends. Stock up. Get ready. If you see what's going on in the world right now and what may happen here in America, you may want to prepare and pay attention. You know that Lear Capital is a big supporter of this show. If you want to be protected in the event that things go off the wall, I advise you to look into buying gold and silver. We are all just one catastrophic event away from the value of the American dollar plunging. Do you know what's not plunging? Gold and silver. In fact, gold hit an all-time high recently. In fact, I think it hit it again today. I'm telling you now, make sure that you have some form of your money invested in precious metals. Lear Capital will ship your gold or your silver coins directly to your house. It's not just a certificate. You can store them in your gun safe, or you can store them off-site in a 24-hour protected facility. It's totally up to you. But when things go crazy here, or across the world, the value of the American dollar is going to decline. It's inevitable, and it might not even take a war. We may do it to ourselves. And I mean, if the Federal Reserve plays around with interest rates, the US dollar will likely decline in value as well. Meanwhile, you'll see gold and silver continue to rise in value. If you call Lear Capital, they will take the time to educate you and answer all of your questions about gold and silver. Just give them a call at 800-601-5430 or go to Learberry, that's me, Learberry.com, to download your free de-dollarization report. You should know that Lear Capital is an American company. If you call them today, you'll be speaking with people right here in the United States. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait until after the election. That could be too late. We all want Trump to be elected. But if he isn't, or if they find a way to steal it, you'd better be prepared. Call 800-601-5430 or go to Learberry.com. And when you call, ask them how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. There's absolutely no obligation to buy anything. Just free information on protecting your hard-earned dollars with gold and silver. You know, when you think about it, you're actually not buying anything. You're simply going to be exchanging dollars for gold, moving currency. Give them a call today. Tell them Barry sent you. So I'm checking the stage right now, and as of yet, Trump is in the building, but he has not come to the stage, nor has any other speaker. So as soon as another speaker comes up, I will show you. I found this comment from Sean. It was kind of funny. That little coin is worth bank. So this is a 1/4 of an ounce of gold. 1/4 of an ounce. Gold is selling for about $2,700-$2,800 per ounce. So a 1/4 of an ounce would tell you what that little coin is worth. You can do the math. Most people can afford, you know, 1/8 of an ounce. Silver, where's the silver thing? This basically anybody can buy and hold. And look how small it is. You can put this thing, literally, a bunch of them, you don't even need a safe. You can put it in a shoebox or something and be prepared, just in case. Just in case. Shanna says, you have helped me so much. Do you believe that we're going to... Where'd that go? Do you believe we are going to win? I don't understand how they can cheat. We need the Lord to help. Do I believe we're going to win? Yep. I looked at actual numbers, and then, you know, I had been posting a thread and posting it over and over again, part of my thread, and my thread was, does this look like someone who feels like they're going to win? And what I mean by that is, are people doing things and showing you the confidence that they feel they're going to win? Or are they showing desperation? See, people who are looking to or feel like they're going to win don't try to play games by shutting off the polling precincts. They don't play games by, instead of fully staffing it, putting one person there. People who look like they feel like they're going to win don't go and do funky stuff in Fulton County where they try to start counting ballots before anybody else can see them. You see, you don't do those things if you're confident of winning. You only do those things if you're worried about losing. And everything I see that the Democrats are doing, and I do mean everything, shows me that they know they're in trouble. They absolutely know they're in trouble, and everything that they're showing, the complete psyop. I mean, here's another psyop that I was talking about last night. This was that poll that said Iowa was going to Kamala, right? And it says, here's the original post. Read through the crosstabs. That's what I was telling you last night. Look through the crosstabs. Crosstabs are inside the methodology, which they always bury, that tell you where they got the number. It's just straight crazy. Here's Seltzer's 2020 exit. I'll show that to you in a second. And he goes, of course, Seltzer stacked the deck. Just another establishment type willing to light their credibility on fire to hurt Trump. So let's look at her crosstabs. Overall, she went Democrats +3, ours +8. Senior women, she went through, and those are not representative of what it should be. As he says here, for the indies to move nothing, she's saying Republicans are shifting further to the left than independents. They're making assumptions and they're taking in data that just can't be possibly can't possibly be right. And they don't show it to you. And then the media, because they have that poll that says it, they all run with the story. Not a single one of those people at what time it was last night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, there was nobody digging in. There was nobody dissecting where did the numbers come from. How did she come up with that? That doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. But they don't show that to you because they're losing. Otherwise, you'd be wide open. Why did Fox run with that? Why did they just run with that story and put it up on their website? Why? Because they know they're losing. Let me see what else we got here. I'm looking for other stuff. Okay, this one says, okay, here's one for you. This is 15 minutes ago. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin, who's been basically trying to embrace Trump, has been in politics for 38 years. As the old saying goes, the politicians are like diapers. They should be changed often for the same reason. And this guy here who's running under the Trump banner is calling her out left and right. There's so much stuff out here. If you guys would just take the time to dig in and see what's going on, follow the people who are going to give you the right information. Let me see what is going on. I hate looking at ads so much and things of that nature. I like to look at actual data. If I see anything else here. I like this, what Elon say. The thing about censorship, for those who would advocate for it, just remember at some point it will turn on you. That's something that a lot of people on the left are not understanding. You can't unvote communism. You can't unvote Marxism. You can't unvote censorship. It is a huge blanket. You are giving control of what you can say and what you can do and how it can be reported to other people. That means all those news networks out there will now basically become like the BBC. You will tell the story we tell you, you can tell. When she says we're never going back, yeah, actually, Kamala, you do want people to go back. You want to erase every bit of technological advancement, and you want to dial it back to when there were 3 networks: ABC, CBS, and NBC. That's it. I've said many times, the man would come on at 6:30 at night, Walter Cronkite, and he would say to you after a half hour of reading news that someone else chose and told him to read, that's the way it is. He would take an entire day's worth of news and boil it down to about, I'd say 24 minutes, because you got commercials. So 24 minutes of news that someone else decided you needed to know was all you knew. That's it, period. And pretty much the same stories were on all 3 networks. And that was it. There was no other alternative. There wasn't many talk shows out there. So when she says, hey, we're never going back, she actually means she is going back. There will be no Facebook or YouTube or Rumble or name it, especially no X. And if there are those networks, you're only going to be able to discuss what they approve. So you might as well get used to a whole lot of cat videos. Well, actually, be careful with the cats. Make sure there's no Haitians in them. And watch out for raccoons and squirrels because, at this point, they're not too high on the list either. So have birthday parties, but don't show yourself actually cooking on the grill, emitting CO2 or something into the air. Don't show anyone in your air conditioning house because we know you're avoiding climate change. Oh, God forbid, never, ever, ever, ever show yourself hunting because now we need to track down your IP and find out because you have a gun. You think it's bad now? You're nervous now, some of you people are saying? You ain't seen nothing yet. I mean, they took someone who was the worst candidate ever put up by the Democrat Party. She didn't make it through one single primary. She got no votes back in 2020, and she got no votes in 2024. And then all of a sudden, she became the hottest thing ever She has been packaged. She hasn't shown anything. She's avoided interviews. She has been completely manufactured, basically a product of the media. And we're supposed to believe all of a sudden that the same people who thought she was shit 4 years ago think she walks on water now. That's what makes me not worried, because I cannot and will not fathom that there are that many insanely stupid Americans. There may be a lot of insanely stupid paid off celebrities and newcomers, but there's no way you're telling me that he's coming out to the dark MAGA. Oh my goodness. Actually, it wasn't. I might get away with not having my ears on then, because since he's coming out to dark MAGA, I'm not sure if the Undertaker's tone is copyrighted, but if it is, I'll just go ahead and cut it. But he's got the dark MAGA music with a red hat. Oh, so let's hope the sound is good. Everything is fine. He's only an hour and 11 minutes behind, but let's see what happens. Dark MAGA Trump with a red hat. So that tells me, and should tell you, the Undertaker music is a comm, C-O-M-M. If that's a comm, he's trying to let somebody know something. So I'm gonna have to dig into, find out why did the Undertaker, any of you guys who watch wrestling, do you know why the Undertaker used that music? What did that theme mean? Because he's sending a message. This man doesn't do anything just off the cuff. So he's definitely sending a message today to somebody. Maybe some of you guys know what that means. Let's see here. Barry knows it's getting real. Yeah, actually, he's looking a little slower. What the hell does that even mean? He's looking a little slower. Come on, man, people. Yeah, well, he's sending a message. So if you guys were into wrestling, let me know what the Undertaker's message was, because I'd love to see it. Here comes my hero. Yeah, I killed the music. If no big deal. I can kill it afterwards and delete it. But I'm wondering what it means. Oh, it means he's probably going to bury her. Oh, well, that's too funny. Undertaker is the dead man who rose. Yeah, that's true. Wearing a hat because he didn't get much sleep and screw the hair day out there in the wind. Trump never rest, and God bless him and protect him. Undertaker was 63 days of rallies, and you would be slower too. So I'm not sure which song is playing now. Let me check real quick. Okay, that's it. Now he's got God Bless America, or God Bless the USA. His message was he's going to bury you. Okay, so he's basically projecting landslide. That's what you're saying. This is a good one. He knows where the bodies are buried. Yeah, that could be a good one. That could be means the end for the evil ones. All right. Here he goes. He's stepping up to the mic. Let's hope we got good sound. Looks like we got good video. Now we just need to know we got good sound. I hate that they have to stand behind that bulletproof glass. That absolutely sucks. So it's 11:15. Let's say he talks for an hour. It'd be 12:15, 12:30. And we'll talk about logistics afterwards. Donald Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And a very, very special hello to Pennsylvania. What a great place. And I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now or... just remember this. I'll tell you what, you remember it. Do you like it better now or 4 years ago? Well, ask it a different. Do you like it better now or 4 years ago? And I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of massive numbers of criminals coming into our country. Thank you very much, Kamala and Joe. And I will bring back the American dream, and we'll bring it back stronger than ever before. But this is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and we will fix it, and we're going to fix it fast. America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. The election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, which is what we have right now, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. I'm asking you to dream big again. This will be America's new golden age. This is going to be a golden age, and it's hard to believe, isn't it, huh? We're talking about a golden age, but that's hard to believe because we have been so low. We've never been this low. The image of our country is terrible. It's terrible. It's a failed country. That's what it is. They view us as a nation in decline, but even worse, they view us as a failed country. We're going to turn it around. The image is so bad. What they've done to our country, this incompetent group of fools, what they've done to our country is so damn bad. And the media is so damn bad. It's unbelievable. Every inch of it. Every problem facing us can be solved, but the fate of our nation is in your hands. On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to go. You got to just go out and you got to stand up. We've done this for so long. This is 9 years. We have to get out. But you have to tell that horrible, terrible, the worst ever vice president. Nobody knows where the other guy is. Where the hell is he? Where the hell did he go, David? Where is he? Nobody knows where the hell. Where is Biden? Remember? We used to go, where's Hunter? We used to go, where's Hunter? Now we go, where the hell is Biden? Where's Joe? You know, when you think they stole the election. It was just, they walked in, they said, you're out. Right? That's a threat to democracy. They call me threat to democracy. They stole the election from this guy. Whether you like him or not, they stole the election. They walked in. They said, get out of here, Joe. You're out. You're dead. You're out, Joe. And man, oh, man, he likes me better than he likes her. I really believe. And you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough, Kamala. You've had enough. You're the worst ever. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. You know, it's amazing. I watched her yesterday, and she's saying all these things she's going to do when she gets to office. First of all, she's got 3 more months. But more importantly, why the hell didn't she do this stuff before? First of all, none of it did she believe in. None of it. She's changed 15 different policies. She's a radical left Marxist. And if she ever heads this country is finished. And I say it loud and clear. Everything we've been fighting for so hard to achieve for the past 9 years all comes down to the next 2 days. Think of it. We've worked in this for 9 years, and we got a phony press. We got a lot of crooked people out there. We're fighting like a son of a gun. We're fighting. They are fighting so hard to steal this damn thing. Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in your state. Every day, they're talking about extending hours and stuff. Who ever heard of this stuff? We should have 1 day voting and paper ballots. Then I just heard that a couple of states may go an extra 12 days. How the hell do you have an election? You know, they spend all of this money on these damn machines, and paper ballots, you'd have the answer by 9 o'clock tonight. It's a damn shame, and I'm the only one that talks about it because everyone's afraid to damn talk about it. And then they accuse you of being a conspiracy theorist. These are conspiracy, and they want to lock you up. They want to put you in jail. The ones that should be locked up are the ones that cheat on these horrible elections that we go through in our country. And I don't know what's going to happen, but for future elections, I won't be even a part of it. But you ought to damn well go to paper ballots. You ought to go to voter ID. And you ought to have the election over by 9 o'clock. I'm hearing now they're going to take weeks. Can you imagine? They spend all this money on machines, and they're going to say, we may take an extra 12 days to determine. And what do you think happens during that 12 days? What do you think happens? These elections have to be decided by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. Bunch of crooked people. These are crooked people. You know, in California, they just signed a bill that if you're an official or anybody, you're not even allowed to ask anybody for their voter ID. And if you do, you've created a criminal act or something. I mean, they only do that because they want to cheat. What the hell are they doing? The whole world is laughing at us. They're laughing at us. You know what? And if nothing comes out of this whole thing, it's going to teach you damn well better get a different system. And these bloodsuckers up there, they do nothing about it. What a shame. What a shame. That's why the world laughs at us. They all have elections. You know, France had crooked elections because they had paper ballots years ago, and they switched. And now they have paper ballots. And at 9 o'clock in the evening, they called the winner, they called the loser, everyone home, everybody was fine. They had voter ID, they had paper ballots, they had one-day election. At 9 o'clock, it was over. They called the winner, they called the loser, everyone went home. Now they say, well, wait till the next time. We got to get smart as a country. This is just one thing. It's all corrupt. She's corrupt. She's a corrupt person. I'm running against a totally corrupt person. And I'm really not running against her. I'm running against a corrupt machine called the Democrat Party. It's totally a corrupt party. Guys like Adam Shifty Schiff, these are corrupt people. And to think he'll probably be a senator, can you believe it? Watermelon head. No, he's a watermelon head. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. I don't know how the hell he can hold up that enlarged watermelon head. What an ugly guy, both inside and out. But it's now or never. This is it. This is the moment. We've been waiting 9 years for this, and we got 2 days, and we got all this crap going on with the press and with the fake stuff and fake polls. And by the way, the polls are just as corrupt as some of the writers back there. They can make those polls sing. They can make them sing. They brag about it. I got a poll, I'm 10 points up in Iowa. One of my enemies just puts out a poll, I'm 3 down. Joni Ernst called me, everyone's called me. They said, you're killing in Iowa. The farmers love me and I love them. But they came up, they just announced a fake poll. Hey, think of it. Right before the election that I'm 3 points down. I'm not down in Iowa. I got $28 billion for the farmers. $28 billion. Nobody else would have gotten 10 cents. Joe would sleep. Do you think he thinks about the farmers? And you know who gave me the $28 billion for the farmers? China, because China screwed our farmers. And then they tell me I'm down in Iowa. I don't think so. And you know what? A good poll, Emerson, no friend of mine, they said that poll is wrong. Everybody said, why do they announce a poll that's highly skewed toward Democrats and liberals? Why do they do that? When you read it, they interviewed far more Democrats than they did Republicans. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? And I guess there's a law that they have to say that because they would have preferred not having to say that. Our country is a crooked country, okay? It's a crooked country, and we're going to make it straight. We're going to make it straight, and it's not an easy thing to do. They'll want to put you in jail because you want to make it straight. Think of it. Think of it. They cheat on elections, and you call them on it, and they want to put you in jail. Think about it. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen, but I love it. You know why? Because we've proven something, we've shown something, and we're going to get it fixed, and we got to win this election. It's all up to now. I mean, we got 2 days. We've been working for 9 years. We did a great job. We had the best economy ever. We had the wall. We had everything. I built over 500 miles of wall. They don't even talk about the wall. But we had the best border, the safest border. I won't pull down my world's favorite chart because I don't want to waste a lot of your time. But my world's favorite chart, done by the Border Patrol, it said we had the safest border in the history of our country the day that I left. I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly, because we did so well. We had such a great. So now, I mean, every polling booth has hundreds of lawyers standing there. It's all about the lawyers. Everybody's standing lawyers. Nobody should have that. You should have a damn ballot and you hand it in. Do you know that in Arizona, where I'm winning by a lot, but it takes 4 hours to fill out the ballot. They've got page after page, and people are complaining they don't have time. It takes 4 hours to fill it out. Why is that? Why is that? I can tell you why. But so many places. Pennsylvania, I love Pennsylvania. I went to school here. I think the people are incredible. But they found, as I understand it, I mean, I don't know what's happened in the last day or so, but in Lancaster, they found 2,600 ballots, all done by the same hand. In other words, the same exact penmanship, the same hand, the same everything. It was all done by the same pen, the exact same pen. And then they go and they say, well, this is a conspiracy theorist. It's a terrible thing that's happened to our country. And the whole world watches it, even third world countries. I was telling, a friend came in last night. He comes from a country, he works there a lot, and knows it. And it's not a great country, to be honest with you. And he said, but when we vote, they take our fingerprints and they check our fingerprints. We can't get away with anything. This is a third world country. In our country, think of it. You are not allowed to even ask for somebody's voter ID. And if you do ask, I think they have the right to put you in jail. Not the one that's cheating, the one that's asking, I want honesty. Oh, let's go to jail. It's a terrible thing. And I tell you what, I love being off these stupid teleprompters because the truth comes out. The truth comes out. And at least you find out that it's nice to have a president that doesn't have to use teleprompters. You ever see her? And I'm being nasty to her because you know what? She's really bad. She shouldn't have been chosen. She got no votes. This is supposed to be a democracy. You could call it a republic. People say, oh, it's a republic. Okay, whatever you want to call it. It's supposed to be fair. And they ripped the election away from this poor, stupid guy. They ripped it away. Like candy from a baby. It's the way you ever take candy from a baby? Hello, darling, give me some of that candy. Just give it to me. You rip it right out of the baby's hand. That's what happened here. It's a corrupt deal. And I think at some point it's got to be changed. Got to be changed. Do you know that paper ballots, and by the way, now the machines are going to really hit me hard because, they never heard anybody hit them like this. But do you know that paper is very sophisticated. It's called watermark. It's watermarked, highly sophisticated. It's more sophisticated than the machines they use, which can be hacked and things can happen. A great gentleman is Elon Musk. Right? And I said to Elon, I assume you're very good with computers, right? They said, well, I think I'm one of the best. He said, it wasn't the engines that landed that rocket the other day. It was the computers telling the engines what to do. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm really good. Well, he looked at the machines, just looked at them, and he doesn't have to look like normal people. Normal people have to rip them apart and figure out what's going on. That's normal experts. He goes like this, the machines are, oh. He looked, Oh, meaning he knew the patient immediately. You know, he does this stuff for a living. So he looks, and he actually made the statement. He said, look, computers are great for sending rockets up and everything else, but there should never be machines used in voting. Everything should be paper ballots put in boxes, voter ID, also identification for the country. In other words, little questions like, now, are you a citizen of the United States? These are little questions. These aren't big questions. Excuse me, ma'am, are you a citizen of the United States? No, I'm not. You're not allowed to ask. Oh, what city do you live in? It's none of your business. I'm voting. Do you understand? Now, if you show up in a suit and tie, they say, we don't want this guy voting. You got to see what they do. I mean, what they do is so sad. But Elon is a total pro. And I saw his mother, the most elegant woman. I said, Elon, she produced you. Well, she produced one hell of a smart guy. But I'm saying, did you see his mother with her beautiful white hair? She looked like total royalty. And she said she went, I think, to New York, and she pulls out identification. No, I don't need that, ma'am. Oh, of course you do. It's my. She wanted to give it. They didn't want it. And she said, very interesting. She was interviewed just yesterday. A very smart woman. Produced a lot of smart kids, too. Not just Elon, a lot of smart kids. And she was amazed. She left there. They didn't want any information. They didn't want her ID. They didn't want identification. And she said, you know, that's a strange thing. I've been in many countries, and they always want your identification. So, look, we have a country with a massive headache, and it would go a lot longer than headache. It would be a much stronger word than the word headache. And we have to solve this problem because we have a mess on our hands. We got a bunch of cheaters that all they do is think about how they can cheat. Think of this. You know, when I run this election, we have meetings with Susie and Chris and all professionals, respected people, a lot of people, and we talk about strategy like, what do you think we're going to say, or where are we going to hold a rally, and how much are things going to cost, and what are we doing? You know, in other words, normal. When they meet to find out how can they cheat. And when you think of it, they have to. Because who wants to have policies of open borders where anybody in the world can come in, where you can, and by the way, 90% of the Democrats, not the sleazebags like Schiff and Schumer and crazy Nancy Pelosi, Pocahontas, not those people, but the people that vote. You know, the real Democrats, they actually tell me all the time, I don't know why the hell we can't have voter ID. The real Democrats want to have things like voter ID. They know it's crooked. There's only one reason you don't want voter ID. There's only one reason, and that's to cheat. There is no other reason. There's no other reason. And they do cheat. Isn't this better than my speech? No, because honestly, somebody's got to talk about it. They say, sir, I'd rather have you not talk about it. We have a certain network. Oh, if you even mention the fact that there's cheating in elections, they turn you off. I mean, this is supposed to be one of our brave, very brave networks. I won't mention which, but you can imagine. You know, it's one thing when CNN and MSNBC, crooked as hell. Look at CBS. Look what CBS did. They took this person who's a low IQ person. They took her, they interviewed her, and the main question they asked her, she gave an answer that was absolutely insane. It was a pile of words taken, mixed up, and thrown onto a board. It was the craziest frickin' answer I've ever seen. And CBS, who's licensed for free, they don't pay anything, by the federal government, why aren't these licenses bid out? Why aren't they worth billions of dollars? all they're supposed to do is be honest. So CBS, now their main news show is 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes took her answer, realized it was a disaster. And you know they wouldn't do it for me. They would love me to give that guy. And you're right. So she said, you would never mess up anyway. You're right. I mean, you know, somebody else. Hey, I sat for a 3-hour interview with Joe Rogan, and it was great. And you have to be smart. I sat 2 days ago, I sat with Tucker Carlson, and we had an interview, an hour and a half. It was at 11:30 in the evening after I did 4 rallies. And it was fine, you know. I mean, they ask you a question, you know, it's very simple. They ask you a question and you give them an answer, if you're intelligent. But she's not an intelligent person. She was not a good student. She was a horrible student. She didn't pass her bar exam. I mean, I know a lot of people, they didn't pass it, but, you know, that's okay, but she didn't pass it. But she was a horrible student. She's not a smart person. We're dealing against the roughest, toughest, smartest. Oh, the press goes crazy. If I say President Xi of China is a brilliant man, they go crazy. He called him brilliant. Well, he runs 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. Yeah, I'd say he's brilliant. That doesn't mean he's a good person. I happen to think, I mean, what he did with COVID was, I called that along. I said it came from the Wuhan lab, and people have a lot of different theories on it. I happen to think it was gross incompetence. The doctor came out of the lab, he had lunch with his girlfriend, she caught it, he caught it, they caught it, everybody started dying all over the place. And they suffered plenty, but these people are very smart, and they're at the top of their game. Top of their game. We have a man that he can't find the stairs off a platform, right? No, he's guiding us. And you know, we have a problem. We don't have a global warming problem. They don't use that term anymore anyway, because as you can see, the planet, it's very cool out here today, isn't it? Oh, they go crazy when I say it. But it's not global warming, because at certain points it starts to cool a little bit, like now, but like this period. And they're getting killed with global, so they changed it. You know what the term is? Climate change. This way, if it gets warmer, it's fine. If it gets cooler, if it rains, if snow comes down in the middle of the summer, it's climate change, you know? I mean, we have a girl, not a smart girl either. She's not smart. She's got a good shtick, but she's not smart. AOC +3. Do you remember how this whole hoax started? She came down and she started screaming at senators that have been there for 30 years, Democrats, and they were totally afraid of her. They're less afraid of her now, but half of them are gonzo. And we've spent trillions and trillions of dollars on things that, you know, putting windmills all over these magnificent plains and fields and valleys and oceans. And then they had one whale in, I think, 50 years come up. And then last year, they had like 18 of them wash ashore, die. And it's all a big hoax. So many things. So this is just like, we're talking about a history lesson. It's just, to me, it's more interesting than the speech that you've heard approximately 900 times, because I've been saying the same thing. You know, with a speech, I mean, I have beautiful, oh, it's so beautiful, but it's true. But it's basically the same thing. We have bad borders, and they don't do anything about them. But they're not only bad, they're open. And they do no vetting. This moron does no vetting. And she's the border czar. The border czar. But then she said, I'm not the border czar. Don't ever call me the border czar. She's a liar. Yeah, well, she is a liar. You're right about that. But for different reasons. So don't call her the border czar. But she was appointed to head the border. Now, the Border Patrol last week gave me the strongest endorsement anybody's ever given me, I think. They actually called me the greatest president in the history of our country. I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln? Does that include Abraham Lincoln and George Washington? They said, actually it does. So anyway, so they like me. But They said the best border president. They said Tom Homan, one of the top guys, he said he's the greatest president we've had. We had the best border that we've had in recorded history. I mean, it was good. And I took over a mess because I took over the mess that Barack Hussein Obama and this, who's a big divider, who's a major divider, and he's a major troublemaker, okay? And you know, I've always treated his wife with respect. Just one of those things. But I've always treated his wife with great respect. But she came at me the other day. That's not nice of her to do. And I think we're going to start having a little fun with Michelle. I think we're going to have a little fun with Michelle. But I always treated her with a lot of respect. And we just have to know. Look, so we have a very divided country. And you really have, look, anybody that wants to have open borders for 13,099 murderers to come in over the last 3 years, for 16,000 of the worst drug lords and drug sellers to come into our country. And you know what they do? They tell them, if you ever come back, we'll kill you. So they don't want to leave. We're going to get them out because they're going back because, you know, see, our country's stupid enough. Our country's stupid enough that we give them massive amounts of, they call it aid, but we give them massive amounts of aid. You know where the aid goes? Into the dictator's pocket for the most part. But we give massive amounts of aid. So I told them, I said, if you don't stop behaving, I'm going to end up taking away all that aid. You're never going to see any aid. And they were so good after that. They were so good. But for the sake of your family and your country and for the sake of your freedom, you've got to get out and vote. You got to get these lunatics out of there. You got to get them out. With your help, we're going to defeat Kamala. I don't even use her last name. Nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about when I say Harris. How is Harris doing? Who the hell is Harris, everybody? Even people that are, you know, look at all the people we have here. Look at over there. They're all over the place. You know, it's a little strange. I'm a pretty smart guy. I have genetics. Do you believe in genetics? I do, you know. Fast racehorses produce fast racehorses, whether you like it or not. And but I'm a very I believe in it, and like I'm smart. I tell the story. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. He said brilliant. Well, probably brilliant, but no. And we do the weave, right? This is a weave today. They'll say, and this is a very important lesson because I'm trying to tell you what's happening with our country. It's going bad. And it can never get fixed because we're never going to get the right people in because of what they do with the elections. We're going to get a bunch of crooks and horrible people. And not dumb people, by the way, you know. She's a dumb person, but the party, but she's not going to run. She's a vessel. She's a vessel, and she's just a vessel. They didn't want him, and then they found out he's perfect. He's perfect because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. They got away. But this is a group of people, large group of people, larger than people think. But it's a very demonic party. It's become that way. The people aren't. The people, Democrats, regular Democrats aren't. Most of them agree with what I'm saying. But it's very. But we do need people to say it, and we have to have it. And if it's not said, and then they're going to fight over it. They're going to call you a horrible person and all of the things that they call you, conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy theorist. They don't tell you that they cheated. Think of it. They spied on my campaign, and they refused to even acknowledge it to this day. But people acknowledge it. But look at all of the things, the Mueller report, they said Russia, Trump's involved with Russia. I don't know a damn thing about Russia. Trump is involved with Russia. It was made up. You know what that was? That was an excuse for why crooked Hillary Clinton, and she is crooked as hell. And now that Joe Biden has been taken out by his party of politics, I can start using the word crooked back to Hillary. I can put it back. You know, I took it off a couple of years ago because I figured she was finished. But actually, I see her talking so much. She's got major Trump derangement syndrome. They were going to operate to see if they could fix it, but it was so severe that the doctor said it would be a waste of a surgeon's time. No, but you like to have smart, and you know, somebody said, is it true that your uncle is Dr. John Trump of MIT? I said, yes, it is. Do you know my uncle was the longest serving professor in the history of MIT? Like, I think 41 years or something, 39, 41. And there's something nice about that. And I'm just looking here, and I'm watching, and this has nothing to do with corruption, but it has to do with a little bit intelligence. And I have a piece of glass over here, and I don't have a piece of glass there. And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much, because I don't mind that. So I have a piece of glass here, and the problem with that glass is I don't look great on television when you have a 4-inch piece of glass that a howitzer can't go through. No, when you see yourself on television, you say, boy, you're really not very recognizable, to be honest with you, which is good. But here's the problem. So I have glass here, I have glass here. Now, I'm not worried about this. Look, what do I have? A couple of people, and they're friends, generally. There are a couple of people I don't like in that group, but that's like, no, but look at it. Look at it. I have nobody here. What do I need this piece? But where I think I do need a piece is here. And I think, no, I'm a very smart person. You know, they've refused it. You know, now they are saying, that was the most brilliant speech. They're saying, it's a weave, you go. And then you're here. And then what happens is while you're here, there's a point having to do with that point. And you go, wing, wing. Then you come here. Then you do another weave, he. And it's very complex, but then it gets very simple because it all comes brilliantly and beautifully together. And they actually acknowledge this total genius there. They don't, not all of them do. Most of them are failed writers. They're not even good writers, okay? They're bad writers, so they don't understand the weave. They'll never be able to do it. But here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at cameras. The problem is, when you watch me tonight, you'll say, the president doesn't look that good. Well, how the hell do you look good? Look at the size of this sucker. Nice to see you. Thank you. So just to finish up on that list, because I don't want to waste a lot of time on the list, but it does seem sort of ridiculous, doesn't it? I don't need a piece here, fellas. I need a piece here. I need a piece. I'm not worried about these people. Maybe David. I'm worried about that. I don't need pieces. You know where I need a piece? Right there. Look, I got farmhouses. I got all sorts of see the guy up in the window back there? Has anybody inspected that? No, it's the whole thing. It's okay. It's okay. But it would be nice to have, I'm trying to make a point and I'm trying to sell something. I'm telling the people that our leadership is grossly incompetent, that we're being ripped off by every country in the world, including our so-called friends. Our friends are far worse in many ways in terms of trade. The European nations are just ripping us to shreds. Everyone says, oh, it's so nice, the European nations. They're very tough. They're very, very tough. With trade, they don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take anything. But they give us their Mercedes. They say BMWs, their Volkswagen, millions and millions. I said to Angela Merkel 3 years ago, I said, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in Berlin? Why, I don't believe you have any. I said, you're right about that, Angela. You think that's fair? So, they're ripping us off. The whole world is ripping us off, and we stopped it. And we took a lot of heat. I lost a little chunk of ear over it, okay? And they weren't happy with that. That wasn't good enough. That was not good. But I'll tell you what, we got to be fair. Europe we have a $300 billion deficit with Europe. Why do we have a deficit like that? And we were fixing it all. It was beautiful. Then we had a very unfortunate thing happened. I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. Right? I got more votes, almost 75 million votes. That's the votes that they talk about. That's not the votes that nobody knows. Actually, nobody has any idea. You got these machines, it's broken. We think we might have paper ballot backup. Oh, we don't have the backup. Oh, wow. They have no idea how many. They have no idea how many votes. But according to their stats, I got like 10 or 12 million more votes than I got the first time. Barack Hussein Obama, a terrible president, by the way, a terrible president. Terrible. The worst on trade. He'd go in, the Germans loved him. You know why? Because they ate our lunch. I mean, it was the craziest thing. The Germans would love him. They didn't love me, and I have heritage there, to put it mildly. They didn't love me because I said, you got to pay. I said to Angela, you haven't paid, Angela. No, Donald, we think we will start by 2035, she told me. Oh, thank you, Angela, I really appreciate it. 2035, this was 4 years ago. Oh, she's going to pay by 2035, think of it. And they think we're stupid people. So we got to get our country straightened out or we're not going to have a country, all right? That's all. And you have a chance in 2 days, and if you don't vote, you're stupid. You're stupid. 4 years of Kamala Harris have delivered nothing but economic hell for American workers. Her inflation disaster has made life unaffordable and cost families over $30,000. Think of it, $30,000. You know why? Because of inflation, the higher prices. You can't afford it. Bacon, sausages, eggs, apples. When people talk to me, and I talk to as many people as I can because they know more than our genius experts who are bullshit. Okay. You go to the little lady that's buying 3 apples, goes to the counter, and then realizes the price has gone up by 40% and she can only afford 2 apples. And she walks an apple back and she walks out with 2 apples. She understands very well, and that should never happen in our country. That happens a lot. They go in and they buy 2 bananas, and this should never be happening in our country. And it's happening because we have both corrupt and stupid leaders. You have combinations of stupidity, and sometimes it overflows. But you have some very stupid people in this country, and you also have some very, very corrupt people that benefit by this. They benefit by letting China rip us off. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China, and I'm the only one that ever did it. They've been ripping us off for years. We rebuilt their military. I mean, they had we're losing, well, we were, now we're losing numbers that nobody even believes, but we lose to China $500 billion a year. When I came in, it was $509 billion. That was a deficit with China. We were losing numbers that were not even, now it's over $1 trillion we give them. And then you wonder, gee, they're building a lot of ships, a lot of planes. Most beautiful plane that I've ever seen is the F-22, but we don't make it anymore because it's too expensive. And you know what? You know who makes it? I saw it. I said, of course you make it. I saw one the other day. Sir, that was made by China. They copied the sucker. I mean, we don't make it. We don't make it. We got to get smart. We got to get smart. Just this week, we had the worst jobs report in modern history. This was done by sleepy/crooked Joe Biden and Kamala. You know, who knows with her? Nobody even knows. You know, we like to say, oh, she was, I don't know if she was, she probably wasn't too involved in it because she wasn't involved in anything. She's lazy as hell. But, you know, they all say, sir, make sure that you only say Kamala. Well, you know, it's probably him more. But she was there. If she was any good, she would have said, Joe, you got a mental problem. You don't have any more. Let me handle things, Joe. Let me handle things. You're out of it, Joe. She didn't say, she said just the opposite. I've never seen there was never an indication that he's mentally shot. I've never seen anything. Well, she's lying. You saw that with the debate. Even I had a thing, I wasn't going to look at him. And I finally had to go like, what? I had to look. I just had to. I couldn't hold it. I looked. I said, what the hell is going on over there? But he had a bad debate. But, you know, that's okay. You can't take it away. You have to go through a process. You can't just say, you're out of here, Joe. You're out. That's what they did. After the debate, they went and they just took it away. You can't do that. But we have, and these numbers that I'm going to tell you are the worst. This is like a depression. And they're devastated. They don't want to talk about it because, you know, they've had a couple of things happen that are incredible. One of the things is that these numbers were announced yesterday, and they thought they were going to be able to hold them till after the election. Because these numbers would not allow anybody to vote for a woman of not high intelligence, to put it mildly. I'm being extremely nice when I say it that way. These numbers are depression-style numbers. I mean, not recession. These aren't recessionary numbers. And I know a lot about this stuff. I was a wonderful, wonderful student at the Wharton School of Finance. I did great. Made a lot of money, I made so much money, it's crazy. And made a lot of money, and I understand money, and I don't say that, you know, it's been something that works for me. And other people have other abilities, but I know this stuff. It's sort of easy for me. And our country's in financial trouble. We could have a depression. And this was just announced, and they're devastated. I know a lot of people in the White House, they're devastated that these numbers came out. They did another thing that's sort of related. 2.5 months ago, they said they had 818,000, that's a lot, 800, almost a million, 800 exactly, and 18,000 new jobs. And you know what? You know what? It was a fraud. They had no new jobs. And then just last month, they said they had 112,000 new jobs, and that was corrected and revised. But they thought that all of this would be revised right after the election. They were having a hard time holding it in because people know you have a lot of good people in our country, and they know what's going on, and they're working in statistics departments and different departments. They see what's going on. You know, you can't really hide it if you have honest people. And we had people that came out and said, a whistleblower, I assume it was, and he came out and said that the almost 1 million jobs that they added fraudulently into our employment numbers were fake. They're fake. And the press barely reported it because they're fake. They're worse than the honestly, they're worse than the politicians. They're worse than the politicians, and they're being caught. That's why their approval ratings are so low. They're being caught. I think it was a great thing I did for the country, because I don't think people, before I came along, nobody talked this way. But they're fake. And we need a fair press. And we don't need a ruthless press. We need a fair press. And sometimes that will be ruthless. But they didn't report this, or barely reported it. So they fraudulently put in fake job numbers. And the information was supposed to come out after the election. In other words, any time after 3 days from now, because then it wouldn't have mattered too much to them. And a whistleblower blew it up and released the information. And I want to just tell you that what they've done, so you add the 112,000, so you're talking about almost 1 million jobs were fake. Now here's the difference. If they had those 1 million jobs, you would have said they did a nice job. Not great, by the way, because you're starting from a depression base. You're starting from where these numbers are, where the real numbers are that just got released yesterday. Also, they wanted to hold these numbers till after, because these numbers are worse than the 818,000 fraudulent job numbers. With only 12,000 jobs were created. That's a depression. Listen to this. 30,000 private sector jobs were killed in a single month, and nearly 100,000 manufacturing jobs were wiped out since the beginning of the year. 100. Those are sort of our prime jobs, I think. You know, we got a lot of prime jobs, but manufacturing, that's where you make money for the country. You make product, you sell the product to other countries. We lost a lot. We've been losing so much. But these are depression-type numbers, and that's where we're heading. And I always said, I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. You know, people tell me, what would you like? I said, the one thing I don't want to be Herbert Hoover, because he was the president when the Depression came, and that was not good. That was not a good thing. And the only reason I'm happy that this has been found out now is that now I can fix it. I didn't cause it, because they blame you for everything. Think of it. And you know, most of the new jobs that were created, you know about this, right? They went to migrants. Do you know that? David knows that. And I hope he's going to be your new senator, by the way. He's a good man. Because don't forget, your senator knew all the stuff that I'm saying. He knew it. And he sat with it. He didn't say it. He didn't reveal it. He would have revealed it. He wouldn't have let me get away with it. He wouldn't have let me get away with it, because it's so terrible for our country. But this senator that you have, he's been there a long time. And you know, it's funny, when somebody's there, I told that to David, they're hard to beat. These guys have been there forever. They're survivors. That's what they're good at. They survive. They're not good senators, but they survive. They're genius at survival. They could be bad senators, and they're there for 25 years. His father was there for 25 years or something. They're not easy to beat, but you got a man here. He's a great guy, and he should be, he's a hero in many ways. Thank you. Thank you. So we got to win. I don't think there's much of a choice. I really don't believe we have a country. Those numbers, and I cut down on a lot of them, but think of that. Almost 100% of the jobs that were created went to illegal aliens, or the new term is illegal migrants. There's no nice term. Some people say, don't use illegal aliens. Oh, what should I use? Migrant. Oh, okay. They're illegal migrants. Personally, I think the word alien is nicer, you know, but what do I know about things like this? But when you think about it, and let me just tell you one further fact, and then we're going to finish up. And I'll only do this speech once. I'm not going to do this speech again, because There's no reason to. I have 3 or 4 rallies today. I have 4 tomorrow. I think I've done, look, we had the greatest rallies in history. There's never been rallies like this. Look at the people. Look at it. We love you just as much as these people. I love you more than these people, okay? No, look, it goes back as far as the eye can see. It's never been that. I actually joke. I tell my people, I have very good people, and I tell them, in 4 years, you'll be representing a hot candidate, and he's going to come to this beautiful part of the Commonwealth, and he's going to have an audience of 250 people, right? Remember Biden? He couldn't, he had the circles because of COVID. I don't know, that's crazy. The only thing good was, I really thought the guy who did those circles was very talented, because I'm a very good builder, and he did perfect circles. In fact, I wanted his name in case I wanted to do some. He's a very good painter, but he had 8 circles. He couldn't fill them. He had to use fake news to fill them. They were sitting there. He would have a rally, and nobody would show up. And I'd have a rally, like in Arizona, and 48,000 people show up. He comes in the next day. He literally couldn't fill the circles, and yet he had more votes than me. He had more votes, and he's a brilliant guy. You know, he worked out of his basement. He never went out. He never talked to anybody. No, this is an unbelievably, and look what happens. Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. Putin didn't play around with me, let me tell you right now. And I'm the one that brought up Nord Stream. So the largest pipeline in the entire world was being built by Russia. And I found out about it. Nobody ever heard. Even the politicians didn't know. It's called Nord Stream 2. And I said to them, having to do with NATO, where we got ripped off until I came along, you know what? They spent hundreds of billions of dollars after I left. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars, but they're building Nord Stream, the largest pipeline in the world, from Russia to Germany and then branching out all over Europe. And I said, you mean so, Angela, so what we're doing is, let me get this straight, we're protecting Germany and all of Europe from Russia. We're taking a deficit. We're paying almost 100% of NATO, by the way. We stopped that quickly. But we're paying all this money to protect you, and yet you're paying the person and the group that we're protecting you from $2 billion, $3 billion, and $4 billion a month, right? This isn't working, Angela. Not for me, it's not. And we had a big meeting, all the leaders of NATO, and they said to me, sir, because they used to say, you know, my biggest fan is Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO. He just left. He was a good man. He was there for a long time. He said Trump was unbelievable. When Obama would come in, he'd make a speech and he'd leave. Bush came in, he made a speech and he'd leave. All the other ones, they'd come in, they'd send their people, they'd make a speech and they'd leave. Trump came in, he said, whoa, I don't want to make a speech, I want to look at the books. I looked at the books and I realized that we were paying 100% or close to 100% of NATO. And I said, that's no good. It's no good. And then they had a big meeting because of that. And at the meeting, we had 28 countries, including us at the time. And the meeting was amazing. And the head of a major country stood up. Sir, does this mean that if we don't pay up, you will not protect us from Russia in case they get aggressive? I said, does that mean that you're delinquent? You mean you haven't paid? In other words, you're delinquent, right? I never heard that term, sir. That's an old real estate term. You're delinquent. He said, yes, we're delinquent. He said, if you're delinquent, if you haven't paid, I would not protect you under any circumstances from Russia. And the next day, you know, only a few countries were paid up. Most of them were delinquent. The next day, billions and billions of dollars came flowing in. They came flowing in. They don't write about it too much. But Stoltenberg said Trump did something I never believed, because he was there for a long time. He said for years and years, decades, nobody would pay because the United States would always be there to pick up the tab because we're run by stupid people. And so that was it. But we'll make America wealthy again, and we'll make America affordable again. And we're 2 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, the brightest economic future, despite where we start from. It's so depressing when you look at what's going on. If my opponent knew how to fix the economy, she would have done it. And I say all the time, during the debate with her, I had a debate. I debated 3 people. It was 3-on-1. I debated Pretty Boy, who's not actually as good looking as he looks on television. In person, he's really not that great looking. But I debated him and some woman that they say, oh, I have no idea who the hell she is. All I know is they interrupted me every time I said, crime is at an all-time high. David Muir goes, it is not. See what they're doing? See that horn over there? They put that horn up. You hear that? It's right in the field where you might have a sniper. See, that's... And I have no glass here. Yeah, I have no glass. I have glass here. There's nothing over there. They're my glass. See? Those people are my glass. I'm hearing that horn. That could be any minute now. They're getting ready. What the hell do I know? I must be wrong. I must be wrong. Probably it was probably Biden or the other one that said, screw him, don't give him the glass. Oh, you don't think? Let me tell you, I'll tell you what. Secret Service guys were very brave when I got shot. They stood right in the line of fire. And I don't want to speak out of school, but I can say from the time I got elected, these guys were fighting for more help, for more people like you have up there, great people, but they were fighting for more assets. They call them assets. I think it's an extremely nasty term, but that's what they were fighting for. They need more assets because we have big rallies. You know, we have 50,000. Interestingly, during the debate, she said, oh, and your debates don't really draw, and everybody leaves early. So then I go, because when somebody says something, I think you have to refute it, right? I said, no, my debates never have an empty seat, and nobody ever leaves early. Nobody has ever left early. These guys will tell you. Nobody. And I walked off, and I said, I killed her in this debate. There were 100 things, but I was debating 3 people. I wasn't debating one. 11 times or so, they said, no, that's not right. That's not right. You know, they weren't supposed to do that, too, by the way. ABC. It's ABC fake news, CBS, ABC, NBC. These are, in my opinion, these are seriously corrupt people. But here's the story. So I refuted. It took only about 30 seconds. I said, no, my rallies are the biggest and nobody ever leaves. And not only are they the biggest, they're hundreds of times bigger than anybody else. The other night in Milwaukee, that arena was here, the Wall. Mr. Wall, would you please stand up? This guy, he was there. You know, this guy's a very successful guy, and I think he's been to like 300 of these things, but he's great. He's a smart guy. He's made a lot of money. I don't know. He likes this better than going to see a rock concert, right? Because we do have some fun, considering we're talking about a very tough subject. It's a bad subject. It's an embarrassing subject. It's embarrassing that this could happen to our country. But in Milwaukee, they have a beautiful arena. It holds like, you know, essentially, I think it's probably a little bit larger than Madison Square Garden, but that size. And we were packed to the rafters. We could have sold it out 3 times. I wish I had the picture. I'll send you the picture, everybody that wants. And it was amazing. But there is a great spirit that this whole MAGA movement has. When Biden got up and he had that horrible scene behind him, the pink and purple, it looked like the devil. And he liked that, you know, made him look like a tough guy, you know. How do you make me look like a tough guy? And he started talking about, we will stop MAGA. We will stop. We won't let MAGA go forward. Couldn't understand. Then he couldn't find his way off the stage as usual. And I wrote him a little note. Joe, MAGA means make America great again. That's what it is. So I'm sort of finished with this whole thing, but so the fake news, some of these lame brains, I see them, I can tell you everyone up there it's a couple of them are good, but everyone up there, I can tell you, they're really dishonest people. I mean, real dishonest. And you know, they call me, and when I pick up the phone by mistake, which is usually the only way they get me, but they sound so nice. It sounds like really great stuff. But let me just tell you, they'll say, some of them, that speech was rambling. That's the word they love to use, rambling. Others will say it was totally brilliant, and it was brilliant. But it's also, there was no ramble in there whatsoever, by the way, none. But you have to understand that this is something that the American public had to hear. You have to hear this. You have to go to free, strong, clear, beautiful elections. You have to have a very powerful, very strong border. You cannot let the world's criminals enter our country by the tens of thousands, by the hundreds of thousands. We cannot accept all of the mental patients all over the world. You know, some of those mental institutions in other parts of the world, not just South America, all over the world. A lot of people coming from the Congo, prisons in the Congo, they're emptying them. You know what they save by doing that? You know, have any idea what they save? They're all in our country, and the ones that aren't will be. And crime is down all over the world where they've done this. They've taken their criminals in Caracas in Venezuela, all their street crime criminals, the ones that knock the crap out of people, the ones that rob the purses and rob the stores, and they moved them here. And the fake news doesn't want to cover the story. Take a look at what's happening in Aurora, in Colorado. Take a look at how horrible it is. They actually took control of apartment complexes. They're in the real estate business like me. And it's happening in it's hundreds of towns and cities. It's something that is just a disgrace. But we're pleased to be joined because it's an important part of it. We have to have good people. And if David would like to come up for a second, David McCormick, he's a tremendous person. And you really should vote for him, because the other guy is a total waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all for being here. We got to win this election in the Keystone State. It's a choice between strength of President Trump, fight, and the weakness of Kamala Harris. It's a choice between the common sense policies, Mr. President, that you had, get our economy back on track, secure that border, open up that energy sector so we can have that beautiful, clean natural gas going around the world. Keep us peaceful through the strength you'll bring, Mr. President. So thank you. I hope to be right there with you in the Senate, because I'm running against the guy. I don't know if you know this, Mr. President. He's running ads standing next to you. Bob Casey, can you believe this? Right? Can you believe it? This guy is a career politician. He was born with a silver political spoon in his mouth. We need to get rid of him, get new leadership in the Senate, make America great again, make Pennsylvania great again. Thank you, sir, for having me. All the best.
Thank you, David. You got to vote for him. Look at a standing ovation. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, this could be the big day then. We finally broke loose. Good. Wow. Look at that, David. Great job. Hi, Dina. and his incredible wife, who was with me in the Oval Office, and she's as smart as they come. She's a great one, great person too. Thank you, Dina. Very nice to have you. What he said is interesting because Bob Casey, a friend of mine called, very smart guy, big guy, high intellect as opposed to a lot of the people we have to deal with. He said, I didn't know that you and Bob Casey are such good friends and so close. He meant it. I said, I don't know the guy. He had nothing to do with me. He's like a stiff. He doesn't do anything. He's there. He survives. That's all. He's a genius at survival. On survival, I give him a 10. On everything else, we don't give him. But I said, why the hell do you say I'm friendly? Because there's commercials that he shows you standing with him. And I have followed the president on the wall, on the border. It sounded like maybe he was actually going to be a Republican. Was he a Republican? No, he's a Democrat. Here's a guy who's a radical left guy. And I have the same thing in Ohio. I have about 5 of them. It's actually a compliment, I guess, you know? But they're all taking out ads. Tester is getting killed, I hope. I don't know. You know, I think he's getting killed. And he's fighting for his life. A young, smart guy, but they're trying to destroy that guy. If you look now, what they're doing to Tim is brutal. They're trying to destroy him on, you know, fake information and stuff. But every one of these senators in Ohio, Sherrod Brown, he's running against Bernie Moreno. Moreno's really good, and he should win, and I'm winning Ohio by a lot. And some of these states I win by a lot. This state I think I should do really well. I won it the first time. The second time, I had like I think, you know, look, it's a long time, great memory. I'll give you about as close as I can get. With 73% of the vote in, I think I was up by close to 900,000 votes. In other words, it was over. And then they said, there's been a minor adjustment. And around 3:02 in the morning, they found like hundreds of thousands of ballots. So I went from 73%. I kept saying, why aren't they calling one of my favorite places, Pennsylvania? Why aren't they doing it? I'm 73% and I'm hundreds of thousands of votes up. I think I could have lost every single vote and won. Anyway, and all of a sudden they had to readjust. There was a readjustment. Oh, and that happened in other places too. You know, the reason I picked Whatley from North Carolina, because I was leading there, and it went through, and they tried like hell to cheat. But other places weren't as good as him. And I said, we don't need votes. We need somebody that can watch the votes and watch the steal. And he's doing a great job. But, you know, I mean, there's so many things happening in Pennsylvania. We're in court all the time. 2,600 votes. And I don't think there should be a problem. It was done by the same guy. And that guy should go to jail for a long period of time. Now, maybe he's not guilty. But you'd have to do a lot of talking, I think. And then we have other things in other counties. I know them all well. And so we'll see how it all comes out. But, you know, they're having a lot of court cases going on, and judges aren't particularly friendly. It's amazing, actually. You know, you go in with things. How about the one in Virginia? We have a really good governor that's become friends of mine. We had a great rally yesterday. How about Virginia? How about Virginia? Where they had all these votes and all the things that happened, and it turned out that these people admitted that they're not qualified. They admitted it. They said thousands of votes, thousands. We are not qualified. We are not citizens of the country. I think they admitted it, right? And the governor, Glenn Youngkin, good guy, very good guy, smart guy, he went in, they found it, you know. They didn't find it by accident. They found all these votes, and they went to the court, and the judge ruled against us. I wonder who appointed that judge. Gee, Some people don't like me saying that. I wonder who appointed the judge, but the judge found that I think they said they didn't find him in time or something, some crazy thing. They didn't find him in time, so therefore he can vote even though he has no idea what the name of our country is, right? And it went to another court, and it was a failed thing too. And then the Supreme Court ruled in favor. They said, you have to be a citizen of our country. Think of that. But we caught them. We caught them. And they did a great job in Virginia. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll win. It's not in theory a swing state, but I'll tell you, we had a crowd. You couldn't see the end of it. So I want to also introduce, if I might, a man who's really brave. He went through hell. He got shot also, by the way. He got really shot. But he's come back, and he's a friend of mine for a long time. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Steve, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve. And what a good man he is. He took some bad. I went to the hospital to see him the night he got shot. The doctor told me he had a 15% chance. He had almost no chance, and he lived. I actually think he's better looking today than he was before. It's true. I told him, I said, you're a better looking guy today than you were. But he's a great guy. He took a big hit, man. The doctor said he lost more blood than anybody that I've ever operated on or tried to save. And he said, I've been doing this for 25 years. And he lived. He lived because he's a strong person. Former Democrat, presidential candidate, somebody who's very popular, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi? Thank you. Thank you, darling. Great. And she just turned Republican. She just turned Republican. Governor Sarah Sanders, my friend, huh? Thank you, Sarah. Arkansas, she's doing a great job. A woman I have a lot of respect for. I've watched her for years. I mean, she happens to be beautiful, but I didn't watch her for that reason. I watched her because she was really a top racing NASCAR legend and did a fantastic job. Danica Patrick. She's fantastic. Thank you, Danica. I've been in those cars, and I don't want to do it again. I had one of your friends drive me around that track. I said, get me the hell out of this car. I don't know how you do it, but you had a great career. Thank you very much, Danica. I appreciate it. Sage Steele, who hosted something for us the other night. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun the other night, right? Thank you, Sage. Appreciate it. We have some incredible patriots, some really brave people, actually. One has gone through hell for absolutely no reason. They came down on him, and they came down because he was honest and he was a patriot. And a tough guy, though. He could handle it very easily. Scott Perry. Scott? And another, these are great. I go to some of the states, and I'm not even in love with some of the Congress people. But these guys are all good. Dan Muser is fantastic. Dan is a fantastic. He said 100% you're going to win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You better be right. I think he's right. Well, there's a lot of spirit here, And we even have the polls up, but I think it's much more than the polls. No, the polls, I'm telling you, you can make those suckers sing. You get the right pollster, you can do, and you really do inflict damage, when you do like this person from Iowa. Today, the election essentially is really, we're talking Turkey, comes out with a poll different from every other poll, because it wasn't even in question. It's really the opposite way. I'm way up. If you look at 3-4 months ago, Dan, I was losing states that now are walks, they're now walks. And I think you're going to have that here. It's called suppression. they suppress. And it actually should be illegal because it's, in many ways, it's worse than the written word, which these guys do quite well, actually. John Joyce is a fantastic person and a brave person. Thank you, John. The other day, I introduced, at John's request, the Penn State National Wrestling Championship team. And these guys came up and they were powerful as hell. They just won the, think of it, the coach must be unbelievable. I hear he's a great wrestler too, a fantastic wrestler, like a champion. Didn't he win the Olympics also? So this coach is something because they won 11, think of this, they won 11 out of the last 13 years. That makes him, you know, that's like John Wooden stuff. That's incredible. That's incredible. So congratulate him. But I did that for John and the whole group. And that's, to me, it's, you know, I'm into sports. I love sports. When you think of 11, but I looked at these guys, I had them up. I brought them up the days the place was packed. That arena was packed. And we could have packed it 5 times if we wanted to. If we had a bigger arena, it would have been, it didn't matter. But I had them up. And I'm looking at these muscles, they're bulging all over the place. You know, they're the best wrestlers in the country, all the top champions. And many of them were the individual champions. And I said to the audience, these may be the only people in this room that could take the illegal migrants in a fight. Outside of this little group of 10 people that I have up here, we're in trouble. In fact, I tried to recruit them for ICE, but they have other plans. I tried to recruit them. Did you know that? I said, come on, how would you like to be a member of ICE? We need you, because ICE is incredible. ICE goes into a pack of MS-13s, fists flying. I mean, somebody's got to do it. It's a nasty job, but they love it. They love the country. And Lloyd Smucker, I want to thank you very much. Great guy. These are all great. I also want to recognize our great Amish community. Where are they? The Amish community, you know? They're a church. I love them. I trust their vote. They are the most, and you know what? They say, I mean, you tell me, this is the first time they've ever been involved. They've got on their horse and buggies, right? They don't do machinery, but they made an exception that they're able to come, and they're coming to one of the rallies, and they made an exception where they can go, but they can't drive. And I'll tell you about them. I had a barn to build, and I went out to bid, and I got all these crazy bids for a lot of money, and they bid for like 1/3 the price. They built a big barn, substantial, out to the cameras and as wide, almost like to the cameras and as wide, big barn, at one of my clubs. 3 days. And they didn't use nails because they're not allowed to use metal or something. Sarah, 3 days, and the barn is gorgeous. I keep saying, I want to build another barn. I'll make a good deal with these. No, they came in, they took the wood from another location and the horse and buggies, and I never saw anything like it. These are unbelievable people. 3 days. Oh, is that the head of Truth? The head of Truth Social. Hey, that's a hot stock. What's going on with that stock? What the hell? Devin Nunes. You know, he was a great congressman. Everybody respected him so much, and he was tough as hell. He said, sir, you know, there was a man, they said, and this is what we need in our country. When Shifty Schiff and Crooked Hillary and all these people, this absolute sleaze, when they came up with the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax, you know, it never existed. It was supposed to be a one-day statement. That was their reason. Why did you lose? Because I was given a 3% chance of winning. And remember, as the evening went along, was that the greatest? You know what? We can have a better evening in 2 days if you get out and vote. We can have, Danica, we can have a better evening. This is better than winning the Daytona. This is Daytona times 1,000. But no, we can have, but I heard there's a young congressman down in the basement of the White House. He said, who the hell is it? His name is Devin Nunes. What the hell is he doing down there? He doesn't believe the Russia story, and he's going through all of the records. He was down there for months. No, this guy is like, if he clamps in on you, you have a problem. And he went for months with a couple of your good friends, right? Lakash and some of your friends, but they spent months at the bottom of the White House and the basements of other buildings. I said, what the hell are they doing here? And then one day I made a mistake. I said, I'd like to meet him. He came up, he shook my hand, and then he went off and he went, I literally we didn't even sit down, right? But because he shook my hand, they said, he's in a conspiracy with the president. No, I didn't even know him. I had no idea who the hell he was. All I know is and he figured out the Russia thing was a total hoax. And he was the expert. And it was a total hoax. It was a made-up story. And anyway, when he left Congress, I said, I'm doing Truth because I had hundreds of millions of followers between Facebook, Instagram, hundreds of millions, like at the top. I had all of them, and Instagram, and all of nobody had what I had, I think. I don't think anybody. And I went from hundreds of millions of followers to nothing. They took it away. For no reason, they took it away. And I said, I have to figure this out. So I said, all right. I started doing press releases, Save America, and they were very successful, but it was a press release, but they were like hot. And we were developing this new thing. And they said, what are we going to name it? I said, and we ideally get 5 letters. And they had all these fancy names. Usually, a lot of them started with an X in front because it was hot. And they couldn't come up with a name. I said, what about Truth? Sir, he didn't say this, somebody. Sir, you'll never be able to get Truth. It's impossible to get Truth, sir. Why? It's very generic. It's very this. Sir, it's already taken. Why do you say? Because there's no way you could get it. It's 5 letters, right? I said, yeah, but it's 5. Sir, you won't be able to get it. I'm sure it's taken. Check. Go check. Go check. Comes back 20 minutes later, sir, you just bought the name Truth for $2,000, right? Right? You just bought the name Truth. Truth Social. And it's been great. But lately, it's on fire. What the hell are you doing, Devin? I made $7 billion last week. What was it up? $10 billion. No, $10 billion. So I can't get angry and say he's doing a bad job, right? I don't know, but I'm proud of you. But, much more importantly, I didn't do it for the money. I did it because, think of it. This is so cool. A friend of mine said, great guy. He said, this guy, he gets banned from Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I was on all 3. I had over 200 million, whatever the hell you call them, right? I got banned. I went from being they banned me. My enemies banned me. And this guy came up with this great theory. He said, think of it. They ban him. They disgrace him. And he has no choice. He goes and opens his own platform, and now the suckers picked up $10 billion. They forced me into building a $10 billion. I was forced, right? That's pretty cool. Who would think that way? The guy that I'm talking about is a very sick person, but he is smart. But in conclusion, I hope you've enjoyed this, because I'm only doing this one time. I'm only doing this one time. I'm going to promise, because I'm sure I'm very late for my next rally. I'm sure they're all waiting for me. But this is the kind of thing I should only have to say once. And when they say, he gave a long and rambling speech, no. Say, it was brilliant, please say that. Nobody else could do it. It was brilliant. In conclusion, with your vote on Tuesday, we are going to fire Lion Kamala, and we're going to save America. We're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Oh, you know what's nice? Look. I'm trying to tell them because these guys are so crooked. They're worse. They're worse than crooked Hillary, which is hard. But look, everybody's standing. Do you know what I mean, that's a sign of respect. Everybody's standing. So when they say, he gave a long and rambling speech, let them know that before the end of the speech, by a little bit, everybody stood because they heard the truth today. They heard the truth, just like Truth Social. They heard the truth. Again, the word truth. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire America. We want to hire people. It's time, right? It's time to put America first, isn't it? I will end the war in Ukraine. Would have never started if I were president. It would have never, zero chance. I said, Vladimir, don't even think about it. Zero chance. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East. That would have never happened. October 7th, Iran was broke. They were stone cold broke. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. They were broke. Do you know, in 4 years, I had no terrorism. Can you imagine? And I stopped. I had no wars also. I did, other than I inherited ISIS, and I knocked out in a short period of time, a few weeks, 100% of the ISIS caliphate. And these idiots like Kelly and Mattis and stupid Milley, he's so stupid. They said it was going to take 5 years, and I did it in a few weeks. That's why I went to Iraq. I said, General, and I met a real general, and our military is great. He knocked him. He said, sir, attack him the following way. I'd attack him from the left and from the right. I'd attack him from underneath if we have to. Well, how long will it take? I'd say 4 weeks, sir. What I was told 5 years in Washington by the stupid people. Anyway, but we have real, and don't worry about them being woke. You could put them in a woke cage for 2 years and they'd come out fighting. They're not going woke. The guys, those few guys on top are woke. And by the way, every one of those guys should have been fired for what happened in Afghanistan. Every one of those guys. He doesn't fire anybody. I fire Kelly. I love firing that stupid guy. But you know what happens when you fire him? If you're me, they go out in the Times and all these people, they go, how would you like to write a book about how bad Trump is? That's what happens. When you fire people, no matter how you do it, nicely or not, when you fire them, they end up writing books and they lie in those books. They tell you, like stupid Bolton, he's one of the dumber people I met, but he was great for me because every time I walked into a foreign leader's office or the foreign leaders came to see me, including Kim Jong-un of North Korea, where you had no problem. That was supposed to be a war. You had no problem. But when I had this dumb guy, Bolton, he got Bush involved with, destroying the Middle East, right? They attacked the Middle East and spent $9 trillion, killed millions of people on both sides. Millions, because I include the other side too. Millions and millions of people. They got nothing. They came back. And I said, don't go in, but if you're going to go in, keep the oil at least. You got to keep something. They didn't keep the oil. And Iraq now has $400 billion in oil money in our banks. Can you imagine how stupid these people are? But Bolton was great. He would never talk, but he was with that stupid face and the mustache. And he'd sit back behind me. And I'd tell guys like Putin, listen, Vladimir, we have to do this, we have to do that. And he's looking over my shoulder at that dumb son of a bitch. He's going to say, they're going to blow the crap out of us. So he was a great guy. But ultimately, he self-destructed, as many of them do. But I will prevent World War III. I know them all. We're very close to a world war right now. With these people that we have, these low IQ people that we have right now, we don't even know who it is. So Putin, he's probably saying to himself, who the hell's running that place? It's like, it's the United States of America. We have other countries saying, who the hell is running the United States of America? Does anybody know? Who do we speak to? I don't think he just said Obama. That's right. No, I don't give Obama that much credit, actually, because I don't think it's Obama. No, Obama likes to play golf. He plays more golf than any human being. But we'll crush violent crime and give our police the support and protection and resources and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We'll build a missile defense shield. Why shouldn't we have one? Our technology, whether you like it or not. And it's all going to be made in the USA. It's going to be made right here, too, in the great Commonwealth. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which is a disgusting mess with graffiti all over that beautiful marble. Those beautiful marble columns, those magnificent columns, that's what we knew how to do things. We put them up. You almost say, how did they ever get them there before tractors, before they had Caterpillar? How did they get them there? But they were brilliant. And they have graffiti on them and lots of other things. And we're going to clean up our capital, make it beautiful, make it safe, so that when you go there, you don't get shot. It's so badly run. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools and fair. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. Is that Kelly? Is that Kelly? Hi, it's Kelly. Another great person, but doesn't matter. Right in the middle of my closing, I see somebody that I felt I had to introduce. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our nation. We're going to defend our borders, and we're going to protect our citizens and our lands. We're going to protect our lands. And we will stop illegal immigration and these massive numbers of killers and drug dealers that are coming into our country. We're going to stop them cold. And we want people to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We're being conquered, just as though it were an army. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and filled with the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda. She destroyed San Francisco. We're not going to let her destroy our country. And we want a landslide that's too big to rig. And I think that can happen. I mean, I'm seeing all these close polls. Oh, he's leading by a half a point. He's leading by a point, right? I don't know. I think the enthusiasm, that's one thing. The level of enthusiasm for the Trump voters is more than double the enthusiasm for this person that nobody ever heard of. You need to get out and vote. It's very simple. And again, I don't want your money. I don't want anything. I just want you to go vote. We're going to turn this thing around. For the past 9 years, we've been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces anywhere on earth. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It does. It belongs to you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 2 days from now, it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. That's what's going to happen. You watch. It's going to happen quickly. It's going to happen very quickly. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise and we will take back the nation that we all love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never, ever back down. We will never surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna turn it around. We're gonna turn it around, and it's gonna happen fast. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Go vote. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, so you heard a speech there that was not like the other speeches. Like I tell you, the reason why I cover all of these speeches is because they're not identical. There are oftentimes things that are different from speech to speech. Consider yourself lucky to have gotten up this morning at 9:30 and heard what he just said. A lot of people seemed confused in the chat. A lot of people are wondering, he looks sad. He's not being positive. He's not motivating people. He's not, what's some of the other stuff I heard? It's not something that is delivering a message to people that gets them fired up. Well, it was. Unfortunately, it needs some deciphering, because what you heard, and you can tell the guy's pumped, what you heard was basically code. I can't vouch for who it was directed at, but there was definitely some communications being given today and being directed at some the very people he needed to get it to. So I'm sure there's a lot of people in the news who won't cover it. I'm sure there's a lot of people, even in our chat, they're wondering, what in the hell was he doing? Why was he talking this way at this point? You got 2 days left. Everything should have been unicorns and rainbows. Everything's fine. But everything's not. You see, the man brought truth and honesty and true emotion in addition to true words. Today he basically told you some things that you don't know. You may have thought you knew, but you don't know. Things that he knows. And to whoever he was speaking to, he was letting them know. One of the things I noticed today, as you saw the motorcade come in, as you can see the guy in the back there, in the black uniform, basically he's talking into comms right now. Security, look at back there. Security is enhanced. Wonder why security is enhanced. We're never going to know. No one's going to tell us. But my eyes can see there's a lot more security than we normally see. And then he got off. There's a lot more to what happened today than anyone is really gonna understand. A couple of things I'm going to recap for you, and you can take it for what it is. Oh, Barry's just trying to say stuff. No, I'm again, everything I say, I try to show you. He talked about Michelle Obama yet again. And then said, I'm quote, let me read it, I'm going to have some fun with her. And I went, ooh, what the hell do you mean by that? Now that's a statement that you, me, watching, it's not for us. He wasn't talking to us. He let somebody know, I'm going to have some fun with her. So those who needed to hear that message, they heard it. They absolutely heard it. I want to play for you something else he said that maybe some of you guys who were late or didn't really particularly listen, I want you to listen to what he says here as well. I'm going to see if I can't make sure I turn this up because I don't want you to miss this. This is something I've never heard in all of the speeches I've covered for Trump. Never heard this. Listen to this.
She's a dumb person, but the party, but she's not going to run. She's a vessel. She's a vessel, and she's just a vessel. They didn't want him, and then they found out he's perfect. He's perfect because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. They got away. But this is a group of people, a large group of people, larger than people think. But it's a very demonic party. It's become.
This is a group of people. This is a large group of people, larger than most people think. And they are demonic. I mean, I listen intently because I've heard so many of his speeches. I know when he's basically doing his box speech, which is, you know, all the normal stuff he does. Today he didn't do the Jocelyn thing. Today he didn't do the Trace Leches thing. He had time. He spoke for hours, but hour and a half. But he decided not to go there. And then you just heard him say, it's a group of people. It's a large group of people, larger than you think, and they are demonic. So you can go back through all of my videos. You can go back through all of his speeches. And today, on a Sunday, was the first time I've ever heard him say, these people are demonic. Just saying. Something is going on. You start putting all this together, and don't look at here and go, oh, he's being down. No, he knows something. Whether there's another attempt on his life, we don't know. Something pissed him off today. Something really pissed him off. And then you coordinate that stuff that pissed him off, and then this happened on one of the talk shows today that I want to play for you. Listen to this.
I want to read this from Nate Cohn. This is on the New York Times polling that I just showed our viewers here. Across these final polls, white Democrats were 16% likelier to respond than white Republicans. That's a larger disparity than our earlier polls this year, and it's not much better than our final polls in 2020, even with the pandemic over. It raises the possibility that the polls could underestimate Mr. Trump yet again.
So on Fox News, this guy who's a pollster is saying they may be underestimating Trump's true support. Underestimating, i.e., BSing the polls.
We do a lot to account for this, but in the end, there are no guarantees. How do you read that?
I think it's covering. I think that they know where things stand. Look, in all of the...
They know it's covering because they know where things stand. So basically, what this man just said to Bill, whatever his name, is they're cheating. They're cheating. They're trying to cover where they stand by saying different things when we know, well, actually, let me rephrase that, and Trump knows and his camp knows these numbers aren't supposed to be where they are.
Those polls in all the battleground states, I heard Carl before this talking about the recalled vote, they've set the electorate to the left of 2020.
Okay, I wanted to stop there. They've set the electorate to the left of 2020. What exactly does that mean, for those of you guys who don't know? So they're using a basis point. And the basis point that they're saying, okay, so let's, because all polling is basically looking at pictures of things in time and saying, here's our basis point. And our basis point that we're going to use is that when we start our polls are going to be to the left of the 2020 vote. Why would you take the data that you see and say, let's start our basis point here? Why wouldn't you take the actual vote from 2020 and use that as your basis point? I wanted to make sure you understood what he just said. They're using left of the electorate. So whatever result there was in 2020, we're going to use the starting point. We're going to start over here. We're going to start left and then see how Trump's doing when we're basically putting our thumb on the scale, and that's what we're going to report to people. And this man just said that for you. He just said they're going to start left.
Which doesn't comport with what we know, which is that all of these electorates have moved to the right, just on a registration eligible electorate basis itself. And obviously we see that starting to manifest in the early voting patterns. So,
all right, so everyone is seeing this. Hey, listen, even though you're starting left, you can't account and come in contact with what the reality that everybody is seeing. How could you be starting left in the polls when the reality of what's happening at the early voting is saying, no, you've got this wrong. You're completely wrong. You're taking apples and comparing them to kumquats. They're not even the same species. But because nobody ever digs, they can just keep saying this over and over and over.
I think that they're sort of putting some cover out there because they're going to underrepresent President Trump's support. What they essentially are saying there is, we got too many Democrats in the survey. We don't have enough Republicans. We know that, but we're going to publish these numbers on the eve of the election anyway.
All right. Did you hear what he just said? We've got way too many Democrats in the sample because Republicans either aren't responding or we're not even contacting them. And so we're giving you out data that we know is stale milk. I used the restaurant analogy earlier. You walk in and this poll or this meal that you order, and they give it to you and they say, here it is. And hey man, this chicken stinks. Oh, don't worry about it. It's good. No, it really stinks. What did you put in this food that makes it stink so bad? Don't worry about it. We're going to serve it anyway. That's what he just said, and that's exactly what is happening. And Trump's pissed off because he sees it. He's like, what in the hell are these demonic scumbags doing? I'd be pissed too. Imagine, I played football, you go out to do it, and every time you run a play, there's a flag. There's another flag. Oops, we're not going to let that happen. Let's trip the guy running to the end zone and not call it. Oh, the scoreboard's not working. Oh, yeah, it is. We just gave the other team six points to start. He's seeing all this. You're seeing all of it, but you don't know what you're looking at, most of you. And you're like, oh, he looks upset. Oh, he's mad. He's not being positive. Positive means I need to let my team know you need to get out there and kick some ass because you're facing an opponent that's doing everything possible to cheat you, to lie to you, to hurt you. And now at this point, I am pissed off because look what these demonic people have done to our country. Well, Barry, did you get all that from there? Nope, I got more stuff. You see, here's what happens when you start being that kind and you start digging. The Pentagon, quote, forgot to send the absentee ballots to soldiers. You know, the military that's predominantly probably going to be conservative. Lloyd Austin, as the headline says on Town Hall, let you read it, the Pentagon fails to send absentee ballots to active military service members. What? How did you forget? What do you mean you just forgot? What are we going to do to rectify this? How are these people going to get these ballots? You mean you're telling me you people are that demonic and that much of a cheating that you didn't even send the ballots to active military people who are overseas trying to protect our country? And you just went, oops, forgot, don't know if we can get them in time. Well, then obviously you need to count them afterwards. That's not what the law said. It's not here. It doesn't say, any exception to it. So I don't know what we're going to do. And Trump must be like, you effing nuts. Are you telling me that you're going that far as to not even give military people the ballot? Earlier somebody said, I don't see any of this breaking news out there, Barry. You're saying this breaking news. Where are you looking? Where are you looking for this news? Do you even know what you're looking for? That's the question you need to start asking yourself, because when you start looking, you're going to get pissed off. You are going to get pissed off. So let me show you some more of this stuff. This was again about the absentee ballots. This is the Emerson poll that came out. Well, I'll let you see when it came out. Emerson came out. This is 11 o'clock this morning. Emerson poll shows Trump up by 10 in Iowa. 10. With leaning, meaning, either way, it goes goes to 9. So why is everybody talking about that one poll from wherever that said Kamala was up by 3? This one has her up by 10. Has Trump up by 10. How the hell can you be talking to the same people? The exact same people. Iowa's not a big state. It's one of the square boxes out there in the Midwest. How can this poll say Trump's up by 10, and this one says he's -3. Wouldn't you be pissed off? Imagine this right now. You log on to your banking app. And you log on to your banking app. You know you made a deposit yesterday of $1,000. And you log in and there's only $600. You're going to call the bank tomorrow when it opens if they don't have customer service today. You're going to go, what the hell is going on here? I had $1,000. And the bank's like, sorry, we only show 600. What do you mean? There's 1,000 here. Sorry, we'll have to investigate it, but that's the number we came up with. Would you be happy? Would you walk around with rainbows and unicorns this morning and say, oh, everything's fine. There's $400 missing out of my account, but you know, that's just how they came up with the number. This poll says +10, and the one the news actually wants to talk about shows Trump down by 3. And nobody wants to talk about how did you get there? How did that possibly happen? The most accurate poller in 2020 was an outfit called Atlas. Atlas National. They came out with this yesterday. Arizona, Trump by 6. North Carolina, Trump by 3. Georgia, Trump by 2. Nevada, Trump by 5. Pennsylvania, Trump +2. Michigan, Trump +2. Wisconsin, Trump +1. You hear anybody talking about that? You hear anybody mentioning that, other than Trump, that he leads in every swing state with the most accurate poller from 2020? Nope. Not going to hear it on MSC, not ABC, not CBS, none of them. They're not talking about that. They're talking about that one poll that they got that says, you know, she's up by 3 in Iowa, which happened to be Sienna and the New York Times. And the lady who made it, well, let's continue. All right, so we got about the Pentagon. We got that. And let me go ahead and pull something else up for you. So, while he was talking, something dropped that basically explained everything to everybody. And this is probably why he's pissed off. All right, so there's a couple different things. Oh, there's even an update. So the update here, this comes out. Rasmussen. Nearly half of voters suspect election officials of involvement in cheating and think such acts deserve criminal punishment. So a new poll comes out 6 minutes ago and says, hey man, there's widespread cheating going on. Would you be happy or would you be pissed off? So, I want to show you this one. This is the one that came out. I'm going to show you the time. It came out to the public at 11:34 a.m. So while he was talking, this information dropped, this news. So now I'm going to have to pull out the headset because now you need to pay some attention. This is where I said there's some breaking news, and it's like, oh my God news. Here is the title. Tony Fabrizio of the GOP. Subject, New York Times to Harris campaign. We tried. And here's some data that is going to blow you away. And you have to know if this came from Tony Fabrizio at the GOP. And here's Tony's a veteran GOP pollster and strategist, proud father of 3. This guy basically is dropping news to Rasmussen. And if he's giving it to Rasmussen, then you know Trump has already seen it. You with me here? All right, so what did he drop at 11:30 this morning? This is going to be hard for you to see, so I'm going to spend some time reading this so you guys can see it. Here is the actual information, confidential information, November 3rd, 2024. On Saturday, top Democrats appear to have received early access to an absurd outlier poll of Iowa conducted by the Des Moines Register. Not to be undone, the New York Times with Sienna arrived right on cue with another set of polling data being used to drive a voter suppression narrative against President Trump's supporters. Some in the media are choosing to amplify a mad dash to dampen and diminish voter enthusiasm. It has not worked. Our voters are like President Trump. They fight. The New York Times is polling an electorate, like you heard in the video. You heard what I said in that guy in the video. Hey, they're polling an electorate far left of what the real electorate is. And this is coordinated by the New York Times. Far left of 2020, despite hard facts of voter registration and early voting indicating a current electorate that has shifted to the right in every single state. And now I could go through this entire thing with you, but you guys can read it on your own. I'll post it in our forum. But the bottom of it says, and it's way over here on the right-hand side, the New York Times even helpfully admitted in their story that they had a harder time reaching Republican voters than in their 2020 polls, which even those were notoriously inaccurate as outlined above. At the same time, NBC News and Emerson College both show a tied national poll with a popular vote of 49-49. Emerson shows President Trump ahead 56-44 in the Midwest, an 8-point spring, 8 points difference, leading among seniors 53-47, and on and on. Bottom, the NBC and Emerson surveys largely confirms the polls released by Atlas Intel, which is the one I just showed you, rated America's most accurate pollster in 2020, showing President Trump with the lead nationally and ahead in the battleground states. Ugh. What does all that mean, Barry? I mean, I don't have time to read all that shit. What does it mean? It means that the PSYOP has been confirmed. They are cooking the books. The media is working in conjunction with them to cook the books. And New York Times, who's considered the preeminent newspaper in the country, is working in hand with the Harris campaign and the media to put out fake polls. It's all there now in black and white. You can read it and go through the entire thing, but they list, as you can see on here, they list point after point after point what they're doing and how they're doing it. That, my friends, is why Trump is pissed. He may have not realized it completely, but as of right now, he knows. And it pissed him off to the point where he just had to come out and talk to you and let you know these people are flipping demonic. They want to destroy this country, and here's why. And he didn't go through the whole thing, but he said they're cheating. A lot of it was about cheating. This is what he's talking about. It has now been confirmed that the New York Times, the Des Moines Register, and the media are all working hand in hand to suppress your vote and to demoralize you. And reading the chat, it's flipping working. He knows it's flipping working. He knows that people are human. And it's so hard to get people away from their traditional consumption of news. You have spent your entire lives putting trust in NBC, CBS, and ABC, and blah, blah, blah. And right now they are using that trust to F with your head. So when that one lady in the chat said, well, I'm not seeing anything, that's why I said to her, kind of flippantly, where are you looking? Do you even know what you're looking at? That's the problem. When people say, hey, look at this, and look, you don't know what you're looking at. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I'm saying that you're being gaslit on a level that's up here. I told you yesterday, turn off the TV, stop reading stuff, and it wasn't just because you're going to see data or information that's bad. They're going to show you data and not tell you what you're even looking at, and you're going to digest it. As they've said many times in Bible school and everything, garbage in, garbage out. You are consuming 20-day-old stanky-ass chicken, and you're not wondering why you're sick. If you don't want to get sick, i.e., if you don't want to be demoralized, you better turn away. I rebuke thee. I ain't watching this stuff. Don't even let it in. Because some of you, as you can see from the chat, are not strong enough to use discernment. So unplug. Come back here at 3 o'clock or whatever when we do the next rally. Get your next dose. Talk to some of the people in the chat. Go out and touch grass. Do whatever you need to do. Turn off your TV. They cannot get to you unless you let them in. They cannot hurt you. They cannot penetrate your armor unless you open it up. And over and over and over in the chat, we saw many of you, we're watching it, and we're like, oh, he's mad today. Oh, this isn't positive. Oh, this and that. And he looks down, and no, it's you. It's your perspective that's screwed up. It's your perspective that they're chipping away. Hey, we got some of these Trump supporters. Oh man, yeah, they're getting demoralized. Keep hitting them. Keep hitting them. We got 2 days to freak them out. And it's working. I saw chat after chat after chat, and I'm like, it's working. So if I were Trump, I'd feel the same way. They're doing it to our military. I mean, look at his chat. Somebody said he doesn't want them to demoralize our military. It's working. You just sat in a chat. We let's see here. There were at one point there's still 7,800 people in here. 8,000 people. We've had nearly 11,000 comments, and many of those comments were from people and trolls that were saying, "Oh, he doesn't look good today. He looks down. He's not being positive. He's pissed." You should be pissed. You, if you can't handle it, need to do something. And that's why I was telling people not to be facetious and be mean. Turn off the TV, go watch football, do whatever you got to do. Because you're not strong enough to absorb this stuff and keep your mind about you. I'm not looking to insult you. I'm just saying you're not ready. You're not a frontline soldier. You should be back in the tent making the pancakes for the soldiers. You're still on the team. We love you on the team. We want you there, but you're not one of the top level fighters because you have that little sliver of doubt, that little sliver of concern that makes you vulnerable. I still want you here. I still want you part of the team, but I got to protect you too. I got to tell you, get off the front line, go back there, refill supplies, do what you need to do to help, and you'll never see this stuff. We don't want you to see the blood. We don't want you to see the amputations. We don't want you to see people with holes in their head. You just keep taking the stuff off the truck and put it on the shelf. You're still a valuable member of the team, but you ain't cut out for this. And I knew it a couple days ago. I'm like, hey man, psychological warfare is not pleasant. Psychological warfare is probably the most, as Trump said, evil warfare there is. It messes with you up here. And if you're not ready for it, you won't survive it. That's scary, isn't it? Yeah, it's scary. The man said, he told you, it's demonic. So unless you basically like I tried to do, take you to church this morning, you ain't ready for this. Thank you for your vote. Go work in the pantry. Keep stocking everything so those of us on the front line can continue with the fight. Thanks for your vote. You're 100% valued. We want you here. We need you here. But you're squeamish. You're not ready to look at the blood and guts and what's happening right now. Let the others protect you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all wrong with it. I don't want certain people exposed to this. They can't take it. There may be some people who are elderly or affirmed and like, what am I doing here? How am I going to live past Tuesday? I don't want you feeling that way. I want you feeling that there are people like me and others out here on the front line. We'll take the arrows. I'll have these guys demote me and do different things. You just get back there and sing the hymns and make the cookies. You're still valuable, but you're not ready to be on the front line. Because what you saw today was a man who went out there who's pissed off, who's like, we're under attack. We are under serious attack, and I don't know if y'all ready for it. And he was right, because you read some of the comments. So the only thing you have to do at this point is determine, are you ready to stand up and look at the right news and dig and learn how to find out fact? Or do you just want to step away for the weekend until Tuesday night and go, I can't do anything. My heart is there, but my head's not. And understand that's okay. That's fully okay. Yeah, go open your Bible. Get rid of the legacy media. Enough of these liars, man. You know, that's why they called everybody conspiracy theorist. And I've told you for a long time, I said a conspiracy is just merely something you don't know or they don't want you to know. Because when you know what you're looking at, that's when it gets like, oh, damn, they're going that deep? Are they really overpolling the data to show more people in the electorate being far left than it really is, just so they can have numbers that then the media can just spit it out at you and try to control you with your own media? Remember I told you to go look at Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. I told you that. Look at those 12 rules and see which one of those ones is working on you. Because when you pull up those 12 rules and you start seeing, oh, yeah, they are doing it, yeah. And you think Fox News is your friend, and I showed you last night, they're saying the same shit. Oh, she's up by 3 points. You ain't cut out for this, man. And I know that sounds harsh. Telling grown-ass adults they ain't cut out for something, but you're telling us you're not. You see, I look at some of this stuff here, and I see people who are fired up like this, you know, too big to rig, and people who know, you know, this is what you need to do. This guy here, Jason says, you know, turn off all media. Turn it off. Turn it off. You would not go to a restaurant and eat the nasty chicken. I don't think you would. If you knew that the restaurant down the street was serving up 2-month-old in the sun chicken, would you go in there and consume it? Of course not. So now that you know that the media is lying to you, why would you even turn it on? That's the best analogy I can say at this point. If you knew a restaurant was serving you poisoned food that was going to make you ill to your stomach, you wouldn't go. At least you wouldn't go in advance. You might get caught in it. But if you know right now the media does not have your best interest at heart, they don't give a shit what you think. They don't care how you feel. There's an agenda afoot here. So if you know that, then don't watch. Don't listen. Follow the right people and get the truth. Follow Elon. If you don't want to follow me, follow Benny. Follow people who are going to give you this kind of messaging and say, hey, you ain't hearing it correctly. Enough of the soapbox. We've been here for 3.5 hours, so let me go ahead and read the super chats and figure out when Trump is going to get to this next event, which I hope you come back for. I hope. You know, it's funny. This is funny. Let me show you this. This is the event that's going on right now in North Carolina. They've got speakers on stage and everything, and Trump ain't. I'm telling you right now, he ain't getting there until close to 2:30, maybe even 3 o'clock. Ain't happening. So let's go ahead and grab something to eat. And who's coming up on the stage right now? Because these people are all chosen to get here. I don't know. Yeah, and there ain't no way in hell Trump's going to be there anytime soon. All right, so let me get here. Was I too harsh for people today? I mean, seriously, were you okay? It's going to be okay. You just have to realize that you're being lied to. And once you realize you're being lied to, then you realize how the demonic people are working on you. And then from there, you can actually do something about it. So let me talk about this stuff. Yesterday, I thought I read it, and if I didn't, I just want to say thank you to Marcus Anderson, who had left a super chat that I may have missed, and the fact that I may have is enough for me to go ahead and be a big guy and say I might have missed it. All right, here we go. Just another knucklehead offering plate. Thank you, sir. Marcus Anderson. Marcus, I'm reading it. Marcus. Mega Mama, with God, all things are possible. Yes. Mama Mima. We are all children of a loving, healthy Father. Hey, Bruce Langworthy. Thank you very much. Jesus is Lord. G. Mark, thank you. My husband died last year. It was unexpected. A gut punch. Hard to stand back up. Thank you for sharing strength and telling us not to quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Who am I? You can come to Christ in any condition. You just can't stay there. He will change you greater. Yep, he will. Biscuit Boy, so good being at church with Vanderbilt. I hope you guys enjoyed John this morning. I'm pretty sure that most of that today's video might have to get deleted. They may have a big problem with it. We'll see it. They hate prayer. Sandy M, thank you. God bless you, your family, and the mods. God bless President Trump, his circle, and the world. Dwayne, let me move this higher. Dwayne Drewer, thank you, Barry, for all you do. I'm from Canada, but have some friends in Michigan. They have voted for Trump and tune in. Thank you. No name, Red Wave, let's go. RIP, Peanut and Freddie. Denise Voorhees, did anyone watch Lily Lang Williams from New Hampshire? Yeah, she completely eviscerated her competitor. Gina Duncan, Big Mac Bridge Fire in Cincinnati. That was very interesting. Very suspect, too. Tyler Medeiros, my wife doesn't like me wearing my MAGA hat in public. Should I wear it in church today? Nah, church might not be the place to wear it. Holy moly. Back when we couldn't post much of anything to Twitter and YouTube, we posted it in BitChute and Odyssey. Lots of content there. Yes, there is. Kimberly Woolwright, thank you. Hoai Chow, thank you. No name. Barry, after he wins, what will you talk about and show us on your show? News. Lots of it. Deciphered for you. Just another knucklehead. Why are we still polling? Because it's working what they're doing. The polls should not and would not ordinarily be doing this, but they know they need to. Everyone look up Cloward Piven strategy. Yep, that's you're right. Moshe G, you can only cry wolf so many times before people wake up. Hope people are waking up. Just another knucklehead. I'm nervous because the other team cheats bigly, effectively. If we're cashing 10% of the cheating, that leaves a lot of fake votes still out there. I've been posting a lot about the court system. Trump even mentioned that. They're getting caught. No name, thank you. Why are gold coins worth more than my gold bars? They're not. They're not worth more than gold bars. Gold is gold. So it's based on weight. So if your gold bar weighs 10 ounces versus something that weighs a quarter of an ounce, it's still worth the same amount of money just based upon how much weight there is. Ron and Jerry, my spiritual testimony can never be censored. Absolutely. Rana G, he is not slow. He's confident and calm, the sign of a leader. Absolutely. Corey Barnhart voted early for the first time Saturday, 3-hour line. Wow. Good man. Or, yeah, woman. Hart say, before Trump says the golden age, a period of great peace, prosperity, and happiness. Remember that for the next few days, thank you, Barry and Maz, thank you. Moshe G, with Undertaker music, Trump is giving her his signature move because his internal poll says Harris is toast. Yes. Just another knucklehead. Guess he got some really bad news this morning. Nope. I just showed you what it was. No name. Stop the steal of the vote. Dwayne Drewer. Did I hear that? Right up to 12 days some places may take. Yeah, he said that. That's in this era, in this world, in this technological state that we're in, that's heresy. No name. Jamie Raskin and Westport are trash for Maryland. They want to run the government. They're trash. Absolutely. Swanee, Barry, may God bless you. May God bless you. Stephen Harmon. The closer this election gets, the more I start to worry, not so much about the election, but what might happen to Trump. Yeah. Marvin, Trump's not BSing today. No, he wasn't. Craig Gilpin, we need to help the president get his agenda done by voting Republican down ballot. Agreed. No name, karma is king. Yes. Charlie Ramos, I am worn down from 4 years of incompetence with Kamala and Dementia Joe. No name, wake up, USA, girls are the best. No name again. Thank you. No more rhinos or donkeys. Let's all be real. Mega, drain the swamp government. Give me and others. Exactly. Christine Engler, thank you, about the Undertaker theme. According to Google, the song is about the work system that imprisons us all. It's got a thrust of someone who's kind of like marching like they're kind of Big I Am. Okay. Deidre, thank you. Ibeth, thank you. Just another knucklehead again. Give me some Big Mike news. Whew. I don't know what's coming. Something's coming. Tamika Curry. Well, we all know what might be coming. Just waiting for someone to say it. Tamika Curry, Elon and Trump are shedding a light on we not only wrestle against flesh, but spiritual wickedness in high places. Those who have ears, pay attention. Yes. No name again. Please do survey on people here who vote who have never been surveyed. I did that the other day. It was overwhelmingly never been polled. Big show. Obama is an agent of the AC and Dems are with Satan. It took a lot for Trump to say that. To say that these people were demonic. That's why they won't like it. Common sense says Trump wins. It does. Bury your... where'd I go with that? Bury your breakdowns are much appreciated. Thank you. Hey, Tommy. We must remember to think the entire POTUS admin, the MSM, education, judges, and corp all take orders from the NWO. It's still hard for newbies to accept what is unthinkable. Not after today. I hope they realize the man just put it out there. He put it out there front and center. Leon Combs, thank you. Ginny Raphael, why in the hell would a person who wants Trump to win, why would they not go ahead and vote for Trump and tell the Democrats to go to hell? Absolutely. Black Yellow Flash, Barry, this is my message to all viewers from an active duty soldier. Troops, stay strong and hold your ground. Do not let anyone sway you with lies. We are in this together in the home stretch. Well said. Michael Clark, for those of us that are completely awake, verified 100, red-pilled, know this is predictable. The closer we get, the more they will ramp up the grand illusion. Yes, absolutely. Barbara Farley, Barry, you're the most soft-hearted man I've ever met. I'm also thank you for letting me join your family. Thank you. I don't know if my wife, yeah, she would call me soft-hearted. Sally, you're good, Barry. Nothing but the truth. Thank you very much. Ruth McCurdy, the only news I watch is Barry, and Benny, and Elon. I have trust in news, trust God in your own truth, and do your own research. La Familia, thank you. Marshall Beckwafort, thank you. And Grumpy Pa, Trump 2024, my Jesus is Lord. Mine too. All right, everybody. I'll see you back here, well, let's say about 3:30. We'll go with round 2 from Kinston, North Carolina, 3:30. And do me a favor, stay away from these people. Just go ahead and just not watch them. Do yourself a favor. Just don't even get in. Give them any of your mind. No room in your mind for them. And I'm about to play the outro, which could cause seizures, as I've been told. So if you are prone to seizures, don't watch what I'm about to show you. Talk to you guys in a little while.